Thank you. This meeting of the Southfield School Board is now open. This is a meeting of the Southfield Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in Agenda Item 4. Please submit a comment request card if you wish to speak during public comment. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Mr. Hicks, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am Betty Robinson, President of Southfield School Board.
I'm Darrell B. Joyce, Vice President of the School Board.
Good evening. I'm Leslie Love Smith, Board Secretary.
Yolanda Charles, Treasurer.
Michael Poole, Board Trustee.
Charles Hicks, Board Trustee.
Talisha Rice, Board Trustee.
Jolena Chiangong, Student Representative.
Matthew Vaughn, Student Representative.
Maya Ford, Student Representative.
Mariah Calhoun, Student Representative.
Linda Wood, Superintendent.
Vicki Hall, Associate Superintendent, Human Resources.
Kate Dankovich, Associate Superintendent for Administrative Services.
Derek Lopez, Associate Superintendent for Curriculum.
Okay, we have an M1 studio, Mr. Mike Madigan, Mr. Jeff Wolfer, and Marlita Gamble. Technical assistant, Ms. Paulette Gardner and Ron Salai. Our recording minutes, Ms. Nicole Christie. At this time, we have special presentation by Southfield Police Chief, Mr. Eric Hawkins.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
And I'd like to thank this honorable board, Superintendent Wood, for inviting me here and have given me an opportunity to have a few comments to the Southfield community, and also my greetings to the cabinet and staff of Dr. Wood, as well as the members of the community, those who are here and those who are watching on television. And it's always an honor for me to get an opportunity to have a few words in front of the representatives of what I feel is the best public school system in the state of Michigan.
All right.
So, as the police chief here and as a longtime city resident, I am very, very proud of the work that you all are doing in educating our children in this community. And so I wanted to just give a few safety awareness words for our community as we are starting to enter our summer season. And as we move into the summer, activity increases, our young folks are out and about, we get more calls for service, and our children during this period of time are exposed to and often get involved in risky situations. So just briefly this evening, I just want to talk about some of the situations that our children need to avoid as we move into the summer season, and just give some tips on how they can do so. And so there's just a whole host of things we can talk about when we talk about the things our kids can get into during the summer season. I'm just going to cover a couple of them. And I'll leave a number for anybody to call if you want to get more tips, either to get more information on what I talk about tonight or extra tips for our children. So I talk about teen parties, I want to talk about social media, and then I'll just briefly give some general crime tips, summer programming for the police department, and then I'll talk about recruitment in law enforcement. But before I get started, for our young folks in the audience, please be aware of who you're hanging with this summer. We've all heard of the phrase, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, add one more thing to that, and that's being with the wrong person.
Yes.
Because I've seen so many times, I tell you, board and community, it breaks my heart when I see our good kids who get caught up in the criminal justice system simply because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. And I see it every year. I don't want to see it this year. So our young folks who are here, be aware who you're hanging with. There's always that one buddy or friend that you got who's the kind of the hothead, you know, that you go into a store and they get into it with the salesperson, or the one when you get stopped in a car and you got that one that's just jabbering at the police officer and stuff like that, and they heighten tensions. Be aware of those folks. Some friends are better off just being the ones that you talk to on the phone or you email. Some of them you don't want to be out with, hanging out on the streets at certain times during the summer. Please be aware of that. And for our parents in here, one of the things I see just about every summer are our teen parties. You know, we're having birthday parties, we're having graduation parties, and every now and then they cause problems for you, for your children, and for people who are attending those parties. I just want to just briefly give a few tips, some things to remember if you happen to have a party, you want to host a party for your youngsters this summer. And these are parties at private residences, parks, banquet halls, clubhouses, and for parents, first, be aware of social media and the impact that social media has. I've seen so many times, not just with parties, but any types of gatherings where something is posted, then all of a sudden, within minutes, you've got a couple hundred people that are showing up at your place, causing problems. So what I recommend is if you host an event for your child this summer, be selective, number one, on who you invite, and then tell those that you invite, don't post things on social media. You know, once that stuff gets out there, you start getting people at your place and they start showing up and they start causing problems. Manage the size of your event. I've seen so many times that they start off good. It's a well-intentioned event, but we have 300 or 400 youngsters at this event. I don't know if we need that many people at a birthday party or graduation party or things like that. Manage the size of it and the time. I've seen so many of these teen parties that go into the late evening hours, and you start attracting some of these folks who like to have a couple of beers and doing some of these other things, and they're showing up at your place at 11 o'clock at night. Best to have early afternoon, early evening events if you're going to have them. Supervision. Contact the police department if you have these events. You can give our department a call. We promise we won't come and break the party up if everything is going well, but what we can do is establish a contact person for you and for us, so if something happens, you can give us a call. And we'll send a car out, if staffing permits, just to kind of give some officer presence at those events. Planning, a lot of times we forget, especially if we're at banquet halls or we're at clubhouses. Exit plans. What happens if things go bad? Do our children know? Do our chaperones know? The folks who are supervising know what to do if somebody comes and crashes the party? If something really bad happens, do we have an exit strategy? Talk about those things and plan for those. Now, oftentimes our children will be attending these parties. So if your child tells you that they're attending a party, know the location of the party. Please, parents. I've seen so many times when something happened in either Southfield or some other city, and the parent calls and they're looking for their child and they just don't know where it is. We often get, well, I know they're in Southfield, I know they're in West Bloomfield, I know they're wherever, but I just don't know the place. And so we got to, and so it really makes things tense when you don't know where your child is, and you see something on the news, and you need to get in touch with them. So a simple thing, but know where they are. Personal contact with the organizers. A lot of times, our children will tell us, we're going to a party over in such and such place, or at some hall someplace. Get the organizer's name. Find out who's hosting that party and personally call them. You know, and we can never have too many talks with our children about drugs and alcohol. So before they go, you know, always have that little talk before they leave. And another little thing that we see when things happen out there, us as parents, we have trouble contacting our children because our cell phones are dead, or theirs is dead, or there's no signal. Before our children leave for the evening, make sure they have a full charge on their cell phone. So if something happens, you can give them a call, a text, or whatever, and you can make contact. We've seen it so many times where they called and the child's phone is dead, and now it really raises tensions at that point. So in ours, make sure our phones are fully charged and available. If our children call us, they need to be quickly get in touch with us. And hotel parties. Parents. Oh, boy. Okay.
No.
If your child tells you that they're going to a hotel party,
Say no.
you probably should. Yeah, somebody said say no. That may be the easiest thing. At the very least, ask a whole lot of questions. I've seen so many teenage hotel parties go sideways because what typically happens is you get an adult who rents a whole block of rooms, kids come and they leave. The kids are in charge. But it's not so funny because what we've seen at these hotel parties are alcohol and drug abuse, sexual assaults, other violent assaults. If you hear that, parents, and they're telling you they're going to one of these hotel parties, unless you know the person that's holding it very, very well and you trust them, somebody here said it, you may not want them to go. And social media. Children, our youngsters in the audience, I think you kind of know the impact of social media, and you know where things go when things happen, but you may not know that once those things are posted, that it could have an impact on you in the criminal justice system. It could be very, very embarrassing for you, for your family. It can have an impact on employment and educational opportunities. So beware of what you do, what you're doing out there. If you are doing something inappropriate, there's a good chance that somebody is recording it. And that is probably going to get posted someplace, and that could lead to all those things I talked about. And the thing I want to emphasize as police chief is that it could introduce you to the criminal justice system. Please beware of those types of things. And for our young men in the audience, please avoid making or receiving inappropriate images or videos, usually of young ladies. Typically what happens is somebody will send you some inappropriate image or video of a young lady, and the young man either keeps it or tries or attempts to get more information or sends it to somebody else. Young man, that is a felony crime that you can be prosecuted for at either the state level or federal level. So my advice, because it happens so many times, young man, if somebody sends you an image or a video of something inappropriate, typically involving a young lady, immediately delete that image and then send that person a reply back saying, do not send me any more images like that. And do not forward that image anyplace else. And so, general crime tips for everybody in the audience and everybody in the Southfield community. You know, our biggest pressure in our community right now is property crimes. Our violent crime rate in our city has just plummeted dramatically. You know, over the last 10 years, you know, we've had a 75% reduction in violent crimes over 10 years in our city. And, you know, I often hear, well, so what? You went down 75%. I mean, if you were high and you came down, maybe you're still high. You know, maybe it's in relation to everybody else. What does that mean? Well, let me put it in the context. The raw numbers are very, very impressive, 75% decrease. But when you look at where we stand in relation to everybody else in this area, also very, very impressive, because the per capita crime rate in Southfield amongst the inner ring suburbs, there are 20 communities that border the city of Detroit, which we consider our inner ring suburbs. 10 years ago, Southfield had the second highest per capita crime rate of all of those communities that are inner ring suburbs. Fast forward 10 years later, we have the 5th lowest violent crime rate per capita of all of the communities that border the inner ring suburbs. Tremendous, tremendous progress. And so we're really shifting our focus now on some of these other quality of life type of crimes, these property crimes. And so what I ask our residents, our members of our community, please lock your vehicles at night. We're seeing a spike in these larcenies from autos, and usually it's vehicles that are left unlocked overnight. So take valuables out of the cars. Don't leave them where they're visible to folks. And more importantly, lock your vehicles. Keep motion lights around your house. That's a great deterrent for things. Watch your neighbors' homes. If we have a home invasion and we catch the person, it's almost 100% chance that it's because somebody called. Because typically, we're getting the call after the fact because the homeowner comes home and sees the door knocked in or something like that. But watch your neighbors' homes. We've caught people frequently simply because a neighbor was watching their neighbor's house and they saw something that was out of sorts. Give us a call. Don't worry about offending anybody. My officers are trained to, if there's nothing, if it's legitimate, they're trained to be professional, courteous, and figure out what's happening. Don't be afraid to call. And if you want any other general crime prevention tips above, either to talk about what I talked about tonight or anything more, you can contact our Crime Prevention Division at 248-796-5409. Again, that's 248-796-5409, and the Crime Prevention Officer is Officer Buckberry. And I just want to conclude with some of the summer programming that we have in the police department. We're going to be having a Books and Badges event where we have our mobile command unit out at various places throughout the summer. And it's a collaboration with the Friends of the Southfield Library, where we'll be giving out free books to children. So look for that. You can go on our website and get information on that. We'll have Cops and Coffee with Cops, Pop with Cops, police open house we're planning for coming up. All this information is out there. We have a police athletic league where we're going to be doing some things with our youth in the communities. Look out for that, and a whole lot more. Call our crime prevention department again at 796-5409. And I want to close with a recruiting pitch for our community. I'm actively recruiting police officers in our city. We have a great recruitment kind of device in our community for our young folks, and that is our police cadet program. And we've all heard about some of the tensions that we've seen across America with police and members of the community, and every single after-action report has said that one of the main causes is that there's a lack of diversity in police departments. They're not representing the communities that they serve. Well, I'm giving out a pitch to our community. We are actively looking for our young people in the Southfield community to come join us. And I hear a lot that we want to send our children to college first and before they get into this, and that's great. We support it. But I have an answer, because in my police cadet program, if you come join us, I send you to college for free.
Awesome. All right.
We have a program for it. So if we have young folks, young men and women in our community who are interested in joining and making a difference in this national debate that we're hearing about police-community relations, this is an excellent opportunity to get involved. In our police cadet program, you come in, you work with us. It's a 40-hour-a-week job, and we pay tuition and books for school. And here's the great thing about it. During the time that you are in class, that is considered part of your work day. So, so basically, we're paying you to go to school. So you don't have this barrier now about, so it's not an either or. It's not, you can either go to college or be a police officer. You can do both. And so I put that opportunity out. We have information. If you have information, if you need information on that, contact Deputy Chief Brian Bassett in the police department at 248-796-5409. 5307. And again, board, superintendent, thank you so much for your time. To our members of the community, thank you for sitting here listening to me for these past few minutes. And I wish you a great meeting tonight. And moreover, I wish everyone here a happy, safe, and joyous summer season. Thank you.
Okay, it is now time for staff and student recognition. Students from Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology have received numerous awards. The students are here with their instructors. And I'm going to invite each of you to come to the podium and share information about your achievements. Please come in this order. Ladies basketball team, followed by the wrestling team, instrumental and vocal music group, Oakland Schools art exhibit. Would you come to the podium in that order, please?
Ladies basketball.
Oh, not? Okay. All right. Sorry. Is my mic working? Yeah, okay. Okay.
About what? No, thank you. About what? Go ahead, Tyler. Talk about your experience.
Ron. See you here for a minute, please.
While they're trying to decide who's going to speak, because none of them want to, I'm just wasting time so that they can get their minds together here.
Let's have the first string speak.
Hi, my name is Tyler Washington, so I guess I'm going to be the one talking today. This is a girls' basketball team, and so, some of them, we have more people. But we had a pretty good season this year. When we came into the season, there was a lot of adversity, and there were a lot of people that weren't exactly with us, saying the merge wouldn't work and that the team wasn't going to work because we were rivals. But as the season went on, we became friends, and it kind of gave us this special bond going from hating each other to not having to work together, and it kind of just made the transition a little bit smoother. So it helped us with our journey, and we made it to the semifinals. Unfortunately, we didn't make it all the way, but it's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You did good.
Oh, we won regionals and districts, but yeah.
Great.
So these are some of the young ladies. I'm Michelle Marshall, and I was blessed enough to be the head coach for the girls basketball program at A&T in its inaugural year. And Tyler spoke about some of the things that we had to overcome in order to become one. All of the success that the young ladies have had this year, they won the league championship at 8-0, undefeated. We won our district championship, won regional championship, won our quarterfinal game over at A&T. And then went to the Breslin, the Final Four, the first time we've been there since 10 years ago when the team won the state championship. And we played extremely hard. I'm very proud of them in the first year. It is hard to merge two teams together and get the success that these young ladies had. But also, they also made BCAM all academic, all state this year. So they're not just, they didn't know, they had no idea of it. We have numerous kids who were on the all-league team and all-area teams. Deja Church, who's not here, was on the ballot for Miss Basketball. But all of the success goes to these young ladies, high-character young ladies who worked really hard for me, who bought in and did everything that this district teaches every day. So I'm really proud of them, and while they're very short on their words, we're just extremely proud of what they've been able to accomplish. Special young ladies, special students, and obviously special basketball players. So we thank you for your support all the way to the Breslin. We saw the numbers. We were very happy with the numbers. We'll try our best to maybe go there next year and win a state championship, but to be able to do this in the first year is just amazing. So I'm very proud of them as a coach. So we thank you very much.
And Coach, we thank you for your hard work too. They wouldn't have made it without your support. Thank you again. We made the right choice. You miss basketball? No, she's not here. Okay. You got the great guy. Enjoy watching you play.
Congratulations. Congratulations on a great season. Congratulations. Fabulous. Be proud. Congratulations.
All right.
Hey, you wonderful warrior. Congrats. Great job today.
Okay, can we now have our wrestling team come to the podium? All right. Can you hear me now?
Thank you so much for having us again. My name is Eric Moon. I'm the head wrestling coach at Southfield A&T High School. To my right, we have a sophomore, Elijah Borden. He's a student at University High School. He's a second-year wrestler, and I think he was all-league wrestler in his first year. This year, he wasn't able to wrestle at the league tournament because he was injured. But as his first-year wrestler, he was all-league. In the middle, we have Dejon James. He's a sophomore at Southfield A&T. He's a first-year wrestler, and he was all-league as well. And then to the far right, I have Max Dogg. He's a senior. He's a National Honor Society member, MWA all academic, 2-time state qualifier, and he took 6th in the state as an individual, which is the highest that the wrestling program, be it the Blue Jays or the Warriors, has ever had. So he's, I guess he's the best wrestler we've ever had at Southfield. And I say that with a hard, I guess, hard. Again, I apologize for these two young men's dress. We actually came here straight from practice.
Okay.
Awesome thing about these guys is Elijah. He just plays one. He only does wrestling. He doesn't do any other sports. But Dejon, he's a 3-sport athlete. Max is a 3-sport athlete. So like Dejon's just fresh out of track practice, and Max still wrestles with the guys that are coming back next year that are training. So that's awesome. He was one of our team captains. Had the highest GPA on the team. We also had other individual successes that led to a lot of team successes. We were able to win a team district championship, which we weren't able to do last year. We were able to avenge some losses. We beat Groves in the finals, which was awesome because we did it at home and we had lost to them earlier in the year, and we were able to beat them pretty good. So that was awesome. And then to have the individual successes that we did in a sport like wrestling, where it's one of those specialized sports, so if you don't do it from a young age, it's kind of tough to get into as a freshman, sophomore, even an 8th grader, you know. And so we're lucky enough to have young men that are hard workers and coachable, that listen well sometimes, right? That listen well. They bought into the program, they bought into wrestling as a sport, not just to be good at a high school sport, but also to use the things they learn to get better at wrestling in their everyday life, like having a better work ethic, being on time, just real small things. They take care of those things in the practice room and on the mat. Then in real life they see things start to get a little bit easier when they're making those kind of transitions. And that was awesome to see. Like I said, the team district champion was huge because we were beating programs with middle school and youth wrestling and things like that with kids that have been wrestling since they were 9, 10, 11, 8, 7, 6, 5 years old. And we got Elijah Borden, second-year wrestler, pinning one of their best wrestlers. That was awesome to see. Or we got a guy, Groves had a kid, Colin Takata. He took second in the state this year he took second in the state. He was one of the best wrestlers in the state. Justin Kennedy, a first-year wrestler, is not here, but he's a first-year wrestler that he's not a real physical kid. He's gonna probably be a varsity kicker next year, so he's not like the most physical kid. But he went out there and wrestled a full 6 minutes with one of the best kids in the state, which is like one of our better kids couldn't even do that. So for him to go out there and do that is a testament to his hard work, his toughness. That's a testimony to our team motto was this year was do something, that's bigger than yourself. So for these children to come together at the end of the year and then like give them themselves like that kind of thing, like for Justin Kennedy to wrestle a kid, and this kid wasn't like playing nice with him either. It was a very physical 6 minutes of wrestling, and he went through it. He came off. He's like, I didn't get pinned, coach. I'm like, you're right, you didn't get pinned. He's like, Sheck got pinned by him. Sheck is saying he's one of our better wrestlers. He's like, Sheck got pinned with him. I'm like, he did it. I'm like, that makes you better than Sheck. He's like, really? I'm like, no, but that's awesome. I'm like, but we won. It came down to literally 2 points. So a pin is 6 points. A regular decision is 3 points. So he didn't get pinned. We only gave up 3 points instead of 6, and we won the duel by 3. That's a big deal. So it's like those little things. Even though Justin didn't win and he took a beating, it was a big deal. He did for something that was bigger than himself, and that's something that we talked about every single day. Not just about winning wrestling matches, but being good students, being good civilians in the regular day. Because eventually this stuff has to end. It's just a high school sport, and then you go to your real life, and that's where it really matters. So it was awesome, and I was very appreciative of the opportunity to coach these young men. The administration was super supportive. This is our second time here doing this, and I appreciate it. It was, I guess, twice as nice, right? Better than not at all. And it's just a big deal to me to see so many people, and then to see the school, because I've coached at some of the best programs in the state, some of the best clubs around the country, and to see the support from the community like this is awesome. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the families that are here. I appreciate the administration from Southfield that are here, and I can't wait to see what's in store for next year.
Thank you. Coach. This thing's not working. Are any of your parents here? It's not working, is it? Okay. Could the parents please stand of these students? Now we have our instrumental and vocal music group. Did you come to the podium as well?
Instrumental.
Instrumental, are you here today? No? Is there a faculty member here to represent the instrumental and music group? No, he's with us. This is AT&T. Okay, Oakland Schools Art Exhibit. Are you here? Pardon me?
I can speak on the art exhibit.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not on the schedule, but I would like to speak about our Oakland County art exhibit. My name is Molly McNeese. I'm the art teacher at Levy Middle School. I'm very proud that 9 of my Levy Middle School students joined other schools in the Southfield School District to have work displayed at the Oakland County Educational Building up at Walled Lake, north on Telegraph Road. It will be on display all through the month of April, and we are sharing a space with Pontiac Public Schools, and our artwork will be displayed for all of the Oakland County educators and representatives that work in that building, and just really proudly show off all of the hard work our students have been doing all year. And the students I chose were from the first day of September all the way up to the present day. And I can tell you that many of our schools participated, and we are very, very excited to be participating in this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Okay, since you're, I do have information on the Oakland Schools, I'm sorry, the Instrumental and Vocal Music Group. It was on our, listed on our message. So if you bear with me, I can just read you the accomplishment. Choirs hit right notes at MSV MA Choral Festival. On March 29th, members of the Southfield A&T Concert Choir, Magical Singers, Varsity Choir, and a few students from Mixed Choir combined and the Levy Middle School Honor Choir participated in the Michigan School Vocal Music Association District Chorale Festival. The two groups separately earned an overall Division I rating for their performance. This is a merit-based rating in which the ensemble receives written and verbal critiques for performance of 2 selections and sight reading skills. This activity requires the groups to sing 3 levels of exercises progressing in difficulty. The students must work alone with no help from their music director. A special thank you to Trenda Baldridge for assisting Southfield A&T with sectionals and providing a beautiful accompaniment for their ensembles. Also, Levy sends a special thank you to the staff for their support. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Glen Levy Middle School. Students from Glen Levy Middle School have received numerous awards. The students are here with their instructors. Can you please come to the podium?
Good evening again. I am, unfortunately, I do not see my student Jaden Ayala. He is an 8th grader, and he is quite talented in the field of arts. And an opportunity came up for our students to participate in the 27th annual NAACP art competition, and the theme was, "What do civil rights mean to you?" And so Jaden illustrated 2 people on a hill, and a drinking fountain was in between them, and one of them had a t-shirt on and it said, "I have the right for clean water," and the other person on the hill had a Flint t-shirt on. And so it was quite powerful, especially to our students to enter the competition, because we had wonderful discussions on civil rights. What are model civil rights? What civil rights have we been fighting for the last 100 years? What rights are we still fighting for today, and do we see in the future? And the everyday rights our kids struggle with. And so it was quite a powerful discussion, and so I had many, many different illustrations, and many are still on display at Levy Middle School. But he was honored at the Charles H. Wright Museum last month, where he received a check for $150 and received 3 tickets to the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner coming up, worth $150 apiece. And he will be joining his parents at that dinner, and they will be putting his artwork on display. So I'm very proud of him, and we all thank not only our staff, but Southfield Public Schools parents and administrators for supporting the arts.
And thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, Science Fair of Metro Detroit Award recipients.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Boone, and this is Bianca Jennings, and I'll have her speak shortly. I wanted to just inform parents in the district. We took a total of 59 kids to Coble Hall to have their projects on exhibit and to be judged. Many times, I look at Science Fair in 3 major parts. The input, which is usually support from the parents, i.e. please go out and buy supplies for your kids. The middle is probably the section you do not get to say, I have that great opportunity, in which you do not necessarily see the process of the kids having to select their own topic or generate their own topic, how they need to actually pull everything that they've learned over the years regarding not so much just the scientific method, but also addressing societal type issues. So the kids have that opportunity to do a lot of growth, and there's independence. At the beginning of the year, I had many parents give me a call to tell me, when is the science fair project due? I need to know so I can make time on my schedule. And the parents don't understand that their role have actually changed. We asked that parents, in fact, we had a workshop where parents were taught what the new role would be. We asked that you monitor your child's progress, and in order to do that, you need to know what it is that you're going to monitor in terms of, you know, types of variables that the kids are working with and how to make that determination. But in the meantime, we had many of the kids do the projects themselves. It's really fantastic when you've worked with kids at the 7th grade level, because when they get to the 8th grade level, as a teacher, the most intrinsic feeling that I have is the intrinsic feeling that they have in having pride in their work. Kids that I had in the 7th grade, it was so great this year when I go, all right, so you know this year, and they go, up, I got this. I know what I want to do. I'm going to change some different materials. I want to look at this and look at that. And they simply come up with additional questions. For me, that is a great feeling. Yeah. So they know what they're doing. I had a parent who was concerned because my daughter project, she didn't bring it home. I don't know what it looks like, because her daughter was saying, I'm doing the project. I don't want you to do the project. So the mom actually came to the school with relatives and say, we want to see the project. We want to know what it looks like. And they had that opportunity, and they were very very filled with pride. But more than anything, our students are usually the ones that are filled with pride. Then we get through the other part of the process that you don't get to see. Some kids cry. I hand them tissue, I ask them to pick a shoulder, and then they keep moving. Some kids say, I want to quit, but I'll go, but you've had your abstract accepted. To have an abstract published at the middle school level is fantastic. And you're talking about abstracts accepted out of a total of 3,000 students who are participants from not just the Tri-County area, but this year they add Livingston, Monroe, and Washtenaw County. So understand the competition isn't just restricted. We're competing with kids from schools that were from private schools, Country Day, Cranbrook. And what's really nice is that when the kids' projects are judged or their abstracts, the judge really do not know what school they come from or anything in terms of their demographics. So they have an opportunity to be judged and valued based on their talent. So that alone is always something fantastic. Other things to note is that the output, this is what you get to see. You get to see the final product. You get to see what ribbon they won. Now, for me and my colleague, it's been a team effort. I would be remiss if I said it was just restricted to myself and my colleague. It becomes a school effort. The kids know how to be very resourceful. They go to the secretary, may I have your coffee grinds? I'm doing recycling of coffee grinds. Do you have any paper, materials? And you know what, and it's really nice because our principal can tell which kid is working on what particular topic, because she helped the kids with sometimes printing out their work in color print. And it's nice because the kids know what they want. You know, she's in a meeting right now. This isn't a good time for her, and they go, okay, but they'll, you know, they become very tenacious about it anyways, and they follow through. But like I said, the output is something that I know I value as their teacher, because they have complete strangers with a background in engineering, education, medicine, who tell the kids, I like your project, and you follow through, and you did a very nice job, and it's coherent. And this year we were very excited because we knew that they added, there were additional counties, and there was some concern because, you know, with science fair there's only a certain percentage, 5% I believe is permitted to receive a gold, and then maybe 10% a blue. Well, this year I was excited because we had 6 honorable mention. We had 39 green, which is excellent. And then I'll be honest, myself and Miss Austin, the other science teacher, we were jumping up and down in the office, and Dr. T's arm, like, we have 18 blues. For anyone who knows anything about science fair, you cannot walk away with that many blues from the same school. Yeah. And then last but not least, we had 2 gold ribbon winners. Deasia Wells, who unfortunately is not here, but she won a 3rd place gold, and then we have Bianca Jennings, who won a 2nd place gold. So I'm going to let Bianca just do a little sharing.
Good evening. My project was on supernatural conductor, and it was an experiment to see which material was the best insulator for heat. And I am very proud that I won second place gold. And actually at the science fair, Broadcam Masters, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. in September for Broadcam Masters. And if I get first place, then I get $25,000. So I'm very excited about that. And actually, when I got to Cobo Hall, I wasn't expecting to be in second place. And I actually told my mom at the last minute, I said, I got in second place. And I was over at my sister's house, and she was like, why did you tell me at the last minute? But of course, she was excited, and now I plan to go and win that $25,000 for Southfield. And I thank my teacher, Dr. Boone, and she really supported me and my parents, and also Miss Austin, and yeah, that's it. So. Thank you.
Are your
Dr.
parents
T.
here?
And,
Young lady, are your parents here today?
Yes.
Can
My
you
mom
have your
is
parents
right
stand,
there.
please? Wonderful.
So thank you to Dr. T, and thank you to Dr. Boone for being support, and thank you for getting me to where I am right now and all the wonderful opportunities that I have. Thanks to my teachers, my parents, and my principal, and all my other peers and colleagues. And
Peers and colleagues. All right.
Good.
That is.
Perhaps you can one day be our next Mae Jemison.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for winning. I wanted her to come and shake my hand. Oh, sorry. Beyond?
Yeah, we want to shake your hand, young lady.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. That is so great. You know, I'm still over here.
Mr. Poole.
Well, I want to get you sick, but congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Don't give up, girl. You can go all the way.
Absolutely. Win that 25. And thank you.
Yeah, really. Okay, University High School Academy. Students from University High School Academy have received numerous awards. The students are here with their instructors. Can you please come to the podium, University High School students, if you are here?
All of us? All of us?
First we're going to Jolena Chiangang won first place in Southfield Lathrop Optimist Club Oratorical Contest. You can go first.
Good evening, everyone. So I had the honor to compete in the Southfield Lathrop Oratorical Club competition a few weeks ago, and it was a truly fulfilling competition. I competed against 8 other students in the Southfield Lathrop Village area, and we talked about what the world gains from optimism. And I have to say, it was truly remarkable to see so many students have so many views about and how they want to be optimistic. And truly, I compete against middle school and high school students, and the middle school students really had me shook, for lack of a better word. They're just really articulate and just very firm in their beliefs, and it's really nice to just have that experience to have and be surrounded by people who are very strong and have so many views that are very important. And so miraculously, and I came in first place, and that's very exciting because I'll be going to the next level of competition in about 2 weeks, and hopefully I win first place there as well, so I can advance and win a lot of money. But I have to say it was a really great experience, and thank you to the Optimist Club for giving me this opportunity, and I'm looking towards a brighter future. This is the medal that they gave me.
Are your parents here?
No, they're not
No?
here.
Okay.
They're not here.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, Zachary Winfrey attended the Disney Dreamers Academy. Are you here, Zachary? Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Zachary Winfrey. I'm a junior at University High School Academy in Southfield. In what month was the trip? What month was the trip? In March, I went to Florida. Walt Disney World for the Disney Dreamers Academy. It was a truly eye-opening and moving experience because I was in an environment where everyone around me was motivated and just as driven to be successful in life as I was. One of the moving experiences on the trip was when we were about 11:30 at night on a Saturday. We were in a room with all boys, 50 of us, and about 40 of us were crying from the talk we had with each other about experiences in our life and everything. And I was just like, it was different. Like I've never seen that many people cry, or men actually that are my age, like in that experience. So that's what it was.
So how did you get elected for this?
So I had to write an essay about myself and like my plan in life. And I actually thank my auntie for that. She forced me to make it, like to write the essay. I wouldn't have did it, but I saw her. So yeah.
Okay.
That's all right.
Awesome. Are you the son of Ruth?
Yes.
Okay, great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Are your parents here, young man? Yep. Can your parents please stand?
Congratulations. Thank you for sharing that too.
Okay, can we have Lyndon Defoe come to the podium? He was a finalist in Michigan Poetry Out Loud competition.
Good evening. Good evening. I had the opportunity for the second year in a row to compete at the Michigan Poetry Out Loud State Finals. For those of you unfamiliar with the competition, Poetry Out Loud is a recitation contest where students would select 3 poems from various poets, and then they would recite those poems and be judged on various things relating to accuracy, interpretation, poise, etc. I was the state champion in 2016. This year, I was first runner-up, second place. There was about 40 students from across the state of Michigan, even from the Upper Peninsula. And as the first place runner-up, my school received a $200 scholarship for the purpose of purchasing poetry books. And moving forward, and next year, since our school is now registered to compete in the competition, hopefully we'll have a student register and place and do well and keep the ball rolling with this competition now, since it was introduced when I first competed in 2016. That was Poetry Out Loud. I'm gonna go on to the next point in the agenda, which is the TED Talk. Royal Bird and I competed in the TEDx Youth event at Clarkston Junior High School. For those of you unfamiliar with the TED Talk, it stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. TED is a media organization which posts various talks, a max 18 minutes, and they're designed to share ideas relating to a wide range of topics concerning science and innovation and the future. And they're usually conducted, by very established individuals who have PhDs and are conducting research and doing various projects. So TEDx is the same ordeal, except it's independently organized, and this was hosted by the Clarkston High School students, and they selected 8 students from Oakland County to give a talk at the event, and the topic for the event was on innovation and the future. My talk concerned regenerative medicine. So we had to draft and memorize a speech that was no more than 16 minutes, but couldn't be any less than 12 minutes. So talking about regenerative medicine, I talked about, tissue repair, organ function, how to rejuvenate a lost limb or part of the body. It was very, very sciencey, very technical. Royal's talk was on, it was more political. His title was Democracy is Bad, where he referenced to the Electoral College and mentioned the election between Donald Trump and Hillary. So it was, all the students had something very different. Another student was talking about the life of a vegan. It was very diverse. All the talks were very innovative and just very exciting to listen to. Royal and I did an amazing job. We represented our school well and the Southfield district well. It was an overall great experience. And yes, that is all I have to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are your parents here?
They are not.
They're not. Okay. Well, thank you. Great job.
Thank
you.
you.
And Royal
Great
as
job.
well.
Thank you.
Come on back around.
I remember you from last week. I was proud. I'm so proud of you again this year. Thank you so much.
Okay, University High School Academy Student Congress received an award of excellence from MASC/MAHS State Leadership Conference. Any of you here? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Morgan Albert, and I am Secretary of Student Congress at University High School Academy. In March, we went to state conferences that was held in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we found out that we won the Award of Excellence for our STUCO, which is our Student Congress, and basically it was a Michigan Association of Student Council and Honor Society, and the Award of Excellence is the highest honor that a school can earn, which recognizes our service and our goals for our program, and it is rubric based, where we get like points for the like a form we have to fill out and submit, and we get like scored on organization and structure for STUCO, our vision for the year, our use of SMART goals, project planning, service, communication, and leadership training. And this is the award.
Great. Great job.
Thank
Your parents here as well?
Yes.
Do you have your parents stand, please? Thank you. Great job. UHSA students received a One More Incentive Reward from the Michigan Blood Drive Organization.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Kennedy Spratt, and I am a senior at University High School Academy. And while at the Stakes Conference in Grand Rapids, we also received a recognition award, first of all, for Michigan Blood, because this year was our first blood drive, and it was actually very difficult because it was a new building. It was like all new everything, and I happened to be the coordinator of this event after Royal Bird, who's not here today. But it was very difficult because this was kind of like thrown on me, and I'm not used to coordinating anything at all, but I did it because I love charities, I love kids, so yeah. But oh my gosh. Okay. But what ended up happening was Michigan Blood paid for our hotel because of how much we did for them. We were able to have 60 donors register and or donate blood to our first blood drive this year. But we are also able to donate 40 pints of blood, which helps save, each pint of blood helps save 3 lives, so 120 lives were saved this year. And it's a huge goal for our school personally because we have only 500 students, which is pretty small. And to save that many lives is actually pretty great. So I do want to give a huge shout out to Ms. Lewis, who is our advisor, who kind of pushed this on me. It's like, Kennedy, you can do this. And on certain days, she was like, are you sure this is, is this too much? I'm like, no, I can do it. Everything happens for a reason. Just let me breathe. So, also a huge shout out to the leadership class, to Dean, who allowed all of this to happen. and to the community, because it was outside parents, outside people who came in to donate blood as well for us. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are your parents here tonight as well? Good, thank you.
It's okay. Yeah.
I just thought it'd be okay, perhaps, Board President, if, because we didn't get a chance to, just the principals from A&T, Levy, and UHSA, just to wave to us. You know, it takes a village. They're part of the village.
Yeah, they were recognized too.
Were they? Yeah. I didn't see Miss Jackson, and I mean, I've seen them, but I just want the community to say hello to them for all their hard work, but it's okay if they've already stepped out. I see Dr. Teague is still in here. Thank you, Ms. Teague. And Dean Williams is back there, humbly modest, but doing great things.
We just want to divert just a little bit here. It's not on the agenda, but we want to recognize our elementary and middle school students. Each year, the Southfield Library has a Battle of the Book competitions, and our students won several awards during that competition. I like to call their names. In the elementary category, we had, excuse me?
No, go ahead.
Oh. A book club called the Book Eyes. Jeremiah Forrest, Uriah Foster, Laura Lyons, Shania Patton, Taylor Ricks, Nicholas William, Tina Marie McDonald, Lisa Jackson. They were from Thompson. They won third prize. The second place winner was Dream Readers, Mariah Abner, Bryce Dreher, Kennedy Eason, Sean Gibson, Elena Jackson, Olivia Johnson, Anthony Abner. They were from MacArthur. So congratulations to you young people. In the middle school category, first place, they are team name Mactacular. Daila Ayero, Adamola Akinawal, Patricia Andrews, Alexis Bell, Priscilla Chiagong, Gracie Grady, Sue Grady, Debbie Clixby. They're all from MacArthur. Congratulations to them. Second place winner, the team named Flower Squad, Ella Dixon, Isis Johnson, Dorothy Sadu, Lauren Tellis, Ann Nargrant, Anitra Johnson. Second place for MacArthur, again. Congratulations. Thompson Titans, Natalie Britley Harden, Brock Holding, Morgan Cunningham, Robert Johnson, Marquette Nadia, Rachel Salmon, Natalie Molnar, all from Thompson, third place winners. Congratulations to our young people. Great job. Okay, now we'll get back to our agenda. Ms. Dawn Rankin has been selected as Southfield Public School Teacher of the Month. We congratulate her on her outstanding performance as an instructor. There is a video presentation.
Rankin is genuine. She's approachable.
She's a go-getter.
She has a passion for her content.
She's funny, she's charismatic.
She is a strong advocate for children.
Ms. Rankin is that teacher that every parent would want their child to have because she believes that all students can achieve in the classroom, and she does not give up on the underachievers.
What's so effective about her teaching is the way she gives it to us. Like, she breaks down each and every lesson, and she doesn't move forward unless she knows that we understand it and we comprehend it all the way.
So she's always thinking, how can I bring the content alive? And I like that about her. She's also very organized. She runs a predictable classroom also, so the kids know when you come in, she's ready for instruction.
Well, she knows how to connect with her students, and she knows like how to give them a realistic reason or actual real purpose to know or why you should know your history.
She doesn't like to see people fail. So if people are failing her class, she will like have a whole day off and just make us do missing work to make up for our assignments.
In my kids' own words, Mom, Miss Rankin, she understands us. She's able to hear what isn't being said. She can relate to us in a way to where she not only understands what we're thinking, how we're feeling when it comes to her teaching methods, but she can actually break it down in terms and, ways in which we can get a full understanding as to what it is she's teaching.
She does a lot. She makes sure everything in the class is set up right, makes sure that the board has the right information on it, make sure that there's constant learning going around the classroom whenever you're there.
Several of my children had special needs, and I always worry, would they be able to fit into the classroom situation? Miss Rankin adjusts her curriculum, but keeps the bar high because she expects the children to achieve.
He's shooting threes, right? Yeah. The 3-point plan, right? What's the plan? Pay back the loans or the bonds.
I think what I enjoy most about being an educator is that every day is different. Although I have the same 116 kids in my care every day, it's never the same. It's always interesting. It's always engaging the kids, and building relationships with them is one of the things that I enjoy the absolute most about being a teacher. I have students that I started with 21 years ago, and I'm still in touch with them. I think that you can't teach children until they know you and you know them, and you can't teach people that you don't love because it's not authentic. The tagline on my email is keeping kids and their families first. Because so many kids come to us now with so many different needs. Sometimes they need a hug, sometimes they need a meal, sometimes they need a kick in the pants. And I try to ask the kids, well, what is it that I can do to help you? And most times they're able to communicate that. And I think that helps the kids get through their day. I think everybody remembers their best teacher and their worst teacher. And sometimes that best teacher can motivate you to be better than you think you are at that moment. And I think that makes a huge impact on a student when they can look back at what they were or who they thought they were, and because of the impact that a good teacher had on them, can propel them to their next level in life. I do a lot of activities with the kids as far as planning Cedar Point dinner dances. I'm also the teacher that takes the kids to Washington, D.C. I try to keep it fun. I try to keep kids motivated to do their very best. When I found out that I was Teacher of the Month, I was really humbled, because you think after 21 years of teaching, you've done all that you can do. You're coming towards the end of a career, and to know that you're still doing a good job means a lot.
She really puts her work and us before anything and everything.
Not every teacher is going to be friendly to every student like she is to you.
As soon as you walk into her classroom, you feel like love and joy.
She's there, not just for the student, but for the parent as well.
Congratulations, Ms. Rankin, for the Teacher of the Month.
Congratulations, Dawn, from all of the Parkers.
Miss Rankin, it is truly a gift to be on a team with you.
You got the Teacher of the Month award, and I expect you're probably going to get a lot more.
They have chose a perfect individual, not only for all that you do, but all that you continue to do.
You're a fantastic teacher, and I hope for many years to come that you help other students from younger generations.
Congratulations. Your next year students will gain a lot from you.
Not only are you a wonderful teacher, you are a great friend.
You've earned your spot because you are a go-getter and you're caring.
With you, there is no I in team.
Dawn Rankin, you deserve every moment of this recognition. I know that you don't ask for acknowledgement, you don't look for praise, you don't even look for a thank you, because you don't do it
for yourself, you do it for others. So you deserve every moment of this recognition.
Again, it is an honor. Congratulations to you. I love you.
We love you.
We love you. Congratulations. We appreciate you. And you're the best. You're awesome. But you know that, don't you?
Mr. Rankin, can you come to the podium, please?
Thank you very much. Thank you. I know I'm all red and teary. And anybody who's been in my class knows that I'm a crybaby. But I want to say thank you to my principal, who's here, and my principal, who is also here. I've had a lot of principals at Thompson. I've been there 21 years. I want to say thank you to the board and to Dr. Wood and to the administrative staff and to the parents that are here and some of my students. They got up to speak tonight, and when you're a middle school teacher, you don't always get to see the finished product. But when you do, it makes it just, it gives you that extra to get up and get it back in there and figure out how to fix it, how to continue to strive to do more, how to continue to serve your community. I was born and raised in Southfield. I'm a Southfield Public Schools graduate, and I love this city. I love this district, and I'm humbled and I'm honored. So thank you very much. Thank you. And I appreciate that because I'm stepping.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, and I want to be healthy.
You got to.
Right.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a test.
Thank you. Oh, great. Keep up with the break.
Big one of emotions anyway. Emotional.
Yes, we do. Yes. Got a certificate. Ms. Rankin, can you come back, please, to the podium? Thank you. Okay.
Can I say one thing? Sure. Ms. Rankin, I just wanted to say one thing to you. I think I probably have known you probably longer than anybody in the room. Ms. Rankin and I, maybe, yeah, maybe. Ms. Rankin and I went to high school together here, and she was 3 at that time. But even back then, the same compassion, the dedication she had with us, I'm sure she has with her students. And tonight I'm just a little overwhelmed that we spent about an hour and a half on achievement. And that's a good thing. The kids in the district are doing some good things. And they're doing good things because of teachers like her.
Right.
So I appreciate you and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Okay, now it's time for the Southfield Public School District to receive the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Association of School Business Officials International. Dr. Wood, you want to give us some background on that?
Well, I'm just very proud also, but I think the person that really has the insight of this award is our business department and Kate Dankovich as our certified public accountant and CFO, et cetera.
Well, this is not the first time the district
Yeah.
has received this award. It is actually the 37th consecutive time that the district has been recognized with this. We have a plaque up there indicating the years that we've received it. Again, 1980 was the first time we applied. And what it demonstrates is a commitment to financial integrity and high-quality financial reporting. A lot of that has to do with the auditors that we work with, but also the direction that we receive from the board. Every year when we receive this award, we also have some comments from the Association of School Business Officials International regarding ways to make the award or our reports even stronger or better. We had no comments this year. So again, just keeping with the tradition of excellence that Southfield has, we're recognized once again, and I am honored to be part of this team. Thank you.
Kate.
And it's also because of people like you who are dedicated and are number crunchers. Thank you, Kate. Okay. Southfield Public School Board trustees receive awards from the Michigan Association of School Board. The awards will be officially presented at a Michigan Association School Board ceremony in June. The entire board has received the Michigan Association of School Board Standard of Excellence Award and Honor Board Award. So please give the entire board a hand. That's awesome. Very few boards receive this acknowledgement, but it's because of our dedication and that we receive this every year, and we have been for quite some time now. So we want to also thank our new members for taking the classes on time and being dedicated to help us receive this award. Once again, thank you so much.
Yep, bravo.
Now, a person by the name of Betty C. Robinson has received the Master Diamond Award and the Mastery Advocacy Skills Specialist Award. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Darrell B. Joyce Sr. has received the Michigan Association School Board Award of Distinction.
Yes.
Congratulations. Ms. Leslie Love Smith has received the Michigan Association of School Board Award of Distinction also. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Good job. This is a great board. I am happy to work with them. They're dedicated because we do not get paid for what we do, but we spend at least 3 nights a week in this building trying to make this school district financially soluble and get the best things for our kids. So we do it all because we love kids, and we're trying to save this district. So, yes.
And I would also like to add, in order to obtain these awards, we have to attend different conferences. Some of the courses are online, weekends, evenings, time away from our families, extra time above and beyond. And that's because we do sincerely believe in being a governing body that really leads in excellence. We want a district of excellence, and so we want to lead by example. And so we take that extra step to really learn everything that we should learn. Many times when we go away to the different conferences or we're in many of the courses, we don't always see other board members from across the state in these classes. Sometimes they get elected to their boards and they figure that's it, and they kind of go along as they learn as they go along, so to speak. But we are committed to really being lifelong learners, really knowing the information, all of the information that we need to make the very best decisions, not only for the kids but for the district. That includes everyone in the district that falls, you know, beneath that. And so I just want to just make that comment and just let you know that we are definitely dedicated, and I am also honored to work with this board. I know how hard it is to get the honor award. You know, you come on and you have to hit the ground running with getting those courses in and everything. And then to see our board president with the Standard of Excellence Award, you know, and the advocacy skills, it's just something to continue to strive towards. So thank you.
And we're the one of the few districts who do not get paid, because every time we go to a conference, we talk to people and they tell us how much money they receive per month for meetings, everything per year. And we look and they say, you get nothing? You say, no, we get maybe chicken dinner every now and then. But that's about it. That just shows you the dedication of this particular board. So if you ever think about running for school board, just kiss your personal life goodbye. That's right. Because it's non-existent, okay? That's true.
So I just want to say, we go to these conferences and we take these classes because it is the professional development. But I remember on my first conference I went to, I took my prescription goggles, and there's no such thing, okay, my swimsuit, my towel, and all my workout stuff, and never got a chance to put none of that stuff on. I didn't get a chance to get into it. I had overpacked, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
And never got a chance to do any of that, because we had some serious classes we were taking. We learned a lot, and so it is an opportunity of a lifetime to gain that kind of knowledge, and that's what we're doing as a board, making sure we gain the knowledge we need to know how to govern it as well as be a good board.
Absolutely. Any other comments? Okay, thank you. We're now at public participation. If you wish to address the board regarding an issue that has not yet been resolved by school administration, please submit a blue comment card immediately. Only those persons with concern related to school matters may participate during the public participation portion of a meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will listen to comments, but may not respond during the meeting. Comments may be referred to an administrator or the superintendent for follow-up. Complaints concerning employees should be brought to the attention of school principals or other administration before coming to the board. As a matter of fairness, speakers with complaints against individuals are asked not to mention persons by name. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. First one is Rudy Merriweather. Would you come to the podium and give us your name and address, please?
Good evening. My name is Rudy Merriweather. Address is 17475 in New Hampshire, Southfield, Michigan, 48075. I just wanted to speak to you tonight. I mean, it's a lot of things I could talk about, but since we only get 3 minutes, I heard that you guys were thinking of privatizing the secretaries, which, you know, I think I speak for most parents, would be a mistake. There's never been anything good for privatizing any job. I mean, I think they should stay Southfield employees, Southfield public school employees, and you should not go and privatize like you did the after-school care, like you did the lunch, like you did the janitors. We don't need different people in our schools around kids. So, I mean, I know you're trying to save money. You guys say you're trying to save the district. To me, it seems like you guys are, you know, destroying the district. And I think I speak for a lot of parents. You guys can find different ways to save money. I mean, any district can save money by cutting jobs. That's the easiest way. But your job as a board is to find different ways and save people's job. You know, you guys say you go to conferences, but if money's really tight, you don't have to go to conference because taxpayers are paying for the conferences. So if we need to save money, maybe we need to pull back. And maybe that's why you don't see other board members there, because those cities are pulling back. That's just one way, but, you know, and then you guys close Southfield Lathrop, put all these kids, 2,500 kids in Southfield High, which the building's not meant to have that many kids, but Southfield Lathrop is still open for university. So You got a building over here meant for 1,500 kids, but maybe what, 600, 700 kids there? That's a waste of money. You got Brace Letterly sitting on 9 Mile, empty. You know, you got Leonard sitting over here on Winchester, empty. Thank the Lord, you sold Shano's, which was excellent. You got $1 million. That was great. But you sold it to a religious group, not be getting no tax dollars. If you had sold it to a private developer, they could have developed the land and we could get a tax base. So you took the money now instead of thinking of the future. So there's many different ways you guys can save money, you know. But one way we do not need to is by letting these secretaries go. They provide a valuable service, okay? So I speak for many parents at McIntyre, and probably most parents in the district, that we want to keep our secretaries as Southfield public school employees, okay? And then, you know, there's different ways, but I want the board to always remember you work for us. We put you there, and we can take you. So, you know, maybe we can't take all of you guys, but we can target one board member, recall or re-election, and replace them. So if they don't do what we like, it's our job to take it from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Sharice Burks, are you here?
Yes, I'm present. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How are you today?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Greetings, people. Greetings. Greetings.
She's shy.
No, I'm not.
You're shy.
Once again, I love you. Greetings, everyone. My name is Sharice Burks, and I'm the mother of Nigel Burks. My son attends Bernie K-8 school.
Name and address for the record.
What did you say?
Name and address for the record, if you please.
28600 Commons Drive.
Thank you.
Southfield, Michigan 48034.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I stand before you to inform everyone I denounce the privatization of clerical services for Southfield's district. This bid for privatization isn't the panacea to balancing the budget. There are pros and cons of adversity. However, there are more cons to outsourcing than pros. I'm going to share with you some of my personal experiences with a privatized company. It's unfortunate, however, it's realistic. I've encountered unethical, unprofessional, social and emotional apathy from employees at Durham School Services. I've received poorly written incident reports several times. I've called the school talking about incidents that were directly related to my son riding the bus. And I received positive reports and feedback from the principal and the AP. However, the interaction between the school services from Durham and myself were negative. These decisions to privatize is truly a catastrophic decision, in my opinion, that will adversely impact the district. Have you genuinely considered the lack of professionalism and ethics from some of the privatized companies? Have you thought about the monetary hardships that will occur for our beloved clerical staff? Moreover, the health benefits that you are cognitively extracting from them and their families? Are you willing to sacrifice compassion, courtesy, dedication, empathy, sympathy, fellowship, and temperance for privatization? I can't imagine Bernie K-8 school without Mrs. Steele and Mrs. Hill. Their professionalism and authentic compassion for people is irreplaceable. They are the heartbeat of the office. Daily we deal with negative and positive domino effects. Outsourcing is a negative effect in my genuine opinion. Please withdraw your bid to replace the current staff. Please consider the genuine plummet this will cause. Place your feet in their shoes. It's imperative to do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Please ponder about the disintegration that you are causing by privatizing their jobs. Moreover, this decision directly affects the students, the parents, and the staff. Harmonious relationships will be dismantled by privatization. Don't sacrifice professionalism, ethics, safety for privatization.
Thank you.
Keep our children safe. In closing, please be creative and considerate and resolve this dilemma with alternative solutions. I humbly request that you don't sacrifice excellent service for the sake of attempting to balance the budget. Frankly, I object to sacrificing our children's safety for privatization. I thank you for your consideration, peace, love, and life. Thank you, Sherry Burks.
Kimberly Downs. Are you here? Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm here to speak in support of my principal and friend, Cynthia Watson. I've known Cynthia Watson since 1993, working at McIntyre. She was a classroom teacher, and I've seen her through the years move from teacher to literacy coach to principal. During all that time, she has always been an instructional leader. She is one of those rare jewels that has the gift of leadership, and seeing her in the role as principal this third year, I believe, she has a rare connection with staff, parents, and children that is invaluable. There is something to be said about on-the-job training. Having known her at McIntyre, we worked on committees. She was an instructional leader. She was a literacy coach. She was an instructional leader. So seeing her blossom into this role as principal has been both a joy and a pleasure. I am so proud of her, and I just want the board to know I've seen her personally and professionally. She is a jewel. And you can have credentials, you can have all kinds of certificates, and step into a role and can't fulfill it. This woman has fulfilled it. She works tirelessly, evenings, Sundays. She is just committed to this position. And I just want to share that with you, and thank you for your hard work, and please, please just know what a jewel that you have.
Thank you. Okay. You guys want to speak? You had a blue card? Well, and what is your name?
Sally.
All you have cards filled out?
No, but they're just standing here.
Oh, just you?
Because we all wrote this together.
Okay, Sally, are you Sally Nalu?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm here to speak on behalf of Vandenberg staff, along with Ms. Kimberly Downs, who just did a wonderful job for our beloved Cynthia Watson. We love you, Cindy. And I'm going to read to you what we composed together as a staff. Mrs. Watson is a stellar instructional leader who encompasses the knowledge base and compassion to run our school. She has made it her mission to learn the backgrounds, customs, and cultures of our families. Sorry, I don't want to cry, okay. And has provided the necessary resources needed not only for the students at Vandenberg, but also for their families. The school culture that she helped to create is conducive for student learning. Mrs. Watson is focused on students first and foremost. Those of you that know her know that to be true. Often investing the majority of her day in activities with children. The bond, relationships, and partnerships that she developed with the families and community has been tremendous. Parents have constantly remarked how the staff and principal go beyond and above what a school normally does. It feels more like a home, and families feel very welcomed. This is a large part due to Miss Cynthia Watson, who embraces everyone. Cindy works tirelessly, and often you will find her at school on weekends and extremely long evenings. Mrs. Watson is so dedicated and committed to our community that even after losing the closest people to her, her father and her sister, she still put Vandenberg first. Within a month, they passed away, the closest people to her. Her dedication to the staff and providing PD allowed teachers to observe one another, and then we had the opportunity to debrief and share our ideas and strategies. She truly values all of us, all the stakeholders, teachers, students, staff, everyone, families. Mrs. Watson is vested in our tremendous multilingual community. You know, we represent over 30 different countries, many languages. Because of her heart, what she cares about our staff, our students, our families, she fights for all of us and makes sure that we have a culture, strong bond. I just hope that you, the board, please give her an extension, whatever you can do to make it happen, because we are willing to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Inca White. I guess it's Inca. Is that Inca?
Erica.
Oh, Erica. Oh, right. Look like, I'm sorry. Erica White. Go ahead, Ms. White.
Hello, I'm here, and I want to congratulate everyone on all the wonderful things that we have heard in regards to the school. And I'm just speaking from a small population in the Southfield School District, which is the special needs kids, and I am an AI mom. And I'm here to
name and address, Ms. White.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Erica White. I'm at 28632 Red Leaf Lane, 48076. Doing this whole transition with the schools, the Southfield Lathrop closing and the new Southfield A&T, it appears that the AI students have been kind of an afterthought. And I am here to just express to the school board that, you know, as a parent of a special needs child, we need some communication, and we have not gotten a lot of that. And we would like to have a little bit more communication as far as with the parents and the teachers. It's a lot of things that are going on that I have to read in the paper. And, you know, I just feel like as a parent, we need to really be advised on what's going on and that our kids are safe and that they are a part of this district, because at this point, it seems like they're not.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Okay.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
I have a question.
You have a question or comment? Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to know, because I've asked about this, and I'm only mentioning this because I don't know if this parent, Ms. White, is aware, but there's a parent advocacy advisory board, special ed, or at least we should have one in the district. Can you give some insight on where we are with that and how we're getting that going, and the new director is getting that going?
Certainly. I will say that there was a parent meeting last Thursday and Friday for special education parents. It may have just, but I will see how the communication went out. But I do know that there is a beginnings of a regeneration of a parent group.
Okay. Ms. White.
I didn't receive any of that information.
Okay.
And I've been in touch with a lot, and they have my email and my phone number, cell and home. So I didn't receive any information in regards to a parent meeting last week at all.
Okay. I'll make sure.
It was for Kennedy parents.
It was just for Kennedy? Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Will.
Ms. Patrice Taylor.
Get the fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Good evening, Ms. Taylor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrice Taylor, 20791 Delaware Street. When outsourcing goes wrong, Southfield A&T, Chartwells. I think everyone knows who Chartwells is, and if not, I'm going to explain it to you. Chartwells provides our meals over at Southfield A&T. Cheese that looks like plastic. That's what my child tells me, and that's what I see. Meat that looks processed and looks like it comes out the rear of something. Okay. Preservatives. I won't even continue to explain because I'm a healthy person. I am one of the parents who wrote a healthy grant, and I am one of the parents who obtained that healthy grant. So, when I was here last month, and we, if I am not mistaken, we extended Chartwell's bid. We extended that contract. And I sat in my wonderful seat and I said, oh, we extended that contract. I said, why did we extend that contract? When I was one of the parents who surveyed students, because I sit down and I talk with students, and they said, Chartwell's food is atrocious. I surveyed students. They said, the wonderful individuals are horrible to us, Mrs. Taylor. These were the students. The teachers don't eat Chartwell's food. The wonderful menu that's on Southfield Public Schools website is falsified. I want you all, board members, to go over to Southfield A&T and eat their food. Take your children over there and eat it. Just go over there. Eat that food. I'm tired. Okay? Okay, I got 41 seconds. Page 19, because I got to read this. Mrs. Ritchie explained the rationale for past contract extensions and renewals and shared that the bidding process is handled by one person with minimal resources and requires major effort and time to ensure proper procedures are followed. I hope that you all did not renew that contract because you don't have the proper individuals in place. I need you all to get it together. It's a hot mess over there. My child will not continue to eat food like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
You're very welcome.
And I will be there tomorrow, without a doubt.
Okay, don't make arrangements.
You heard me. What did I say? Okay. Read my lips. Thank you. Read my lips. Okay. Thank you. You can sit down now.
Okay, I know. Make sure you go over there without a arrangement.
Okay. Student Board Representative. Mariah Calhoun, Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology. Yeah. You said twice.
Hello to the Board of Education, Superintendent, Administrators, staff members, and community. My name is Mariah Calhoun, and I am a member of Southfield Student Council and Business Professionals of America and Principals Council. Here is our Warrior Report.
Today, April 11th, all of our juniors took the SAT test to determine their readiness for college, while 9th graders also took a PSAT. Tomorrow, the 10th graders take the PSAT and 11th graders will take the work keys. We wish them all the best and nothing but high scores. In support of our juniors, the Michigan McDonald's restaurant owners are continuing their free breakfast program, Boost Your Brain, providing free nutritious breakfast to our juniors in preparation for the SAT. We greatly appreciate them and their efforts to help our students succeed. Students from Southfield A&T just recently returned from Caceres, Spain during spring break. It was a very wonderful opportunity we had to immerse ourselves with the Spanish language and culture. I myself went and had a wonderful time.
The girls' basketball team just ended their awesome season, making it all the way to the semifinals. Although they didn't win, it was such a close game, and our ladies played amazingly. Congratulations, Lady Warriors, on a victorious season. It was definitely a start to many more. The National Honor Society is hosting a walk in honor of Kara Allen. The walk will take place on April 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on our football field and track, and is open to the community to attend. There will be food, drinks, and fun. Admission is only $5. The money we raise is going toward a scholarship for a lucky senior in Kara's name. We hope to see you all there showing your support. Southfield Warriors' first home baseball game is tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. against Troy. Good luck, Warriors. We hope for an exciting season. Things continue to move in the right direction at Southfield High School for the Arts of Technology. Thank you to the Board of Education, Superintendent, administrators, staff members, and community for giving us your time. This concludes our Warrior Report.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ms. Maya Ford. You done? Are you both? Okay. You done? Okay, great. Thank you. Matthew Vaughn from Southfield Regional Academic Campus.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Dr. Linda Wood, Central Office staff, and administrators, Southfield Schools, staff, parents, students, and guests. My name is Matthew Vaughn, and I am your student board representative for Southfield Regional Academic Campus. Project Manhood and Project Womanhood was honored on March 16, 2017 to have guest speaker Monte Holland and Tayon Collections come and speak to our students about entrepreneurship, business plans, and setting goals. The students were engaged and gained valuable insight on how to find your passion, develop it, and walk in your own personal gift. Mr. Holland was gracious enough to give all the students beautiful necklaces and took the time to teach them how to tie it. We were all grateful for his time and presence, and we look forward to returning to encourage and enlighten and empower our students. On Thursday, March 23, 2017, 4 young men from Southfield Regional Academic Campus participated in Reading Month by going to Thompson International Academy and Adler Elementary School respectively to read to students in grades from 2nd to 4th. All the young men read very good, and the teachers were asking for possibly of them returning to the near future. Young men are Desmond Ashwood, Darnell Wallace, Kyle Barton, and Philip Artis. This school year, the students of Southfield Regional were able to attend several Detroit Pistons basketball games thanks to the Detroit Pistons Foundation and Detroit Pistons player Ish Smith. Several students and staff members attended the Pistons versus Miami Heat game on March 28th. The students and staff of Southfield Regional are truly appreciate the kindness and generosity of the Pistons Foundation and Ish Smith. We had several students at Southfield Regional doing great things. Congratulations to the following students. 9th grade student Trayvon Hamilton, who has been selected to be having essay published by Creative Communications. 11th grade student Frederick Johnson for winning first place at the Wayne State University Spring Underwater Robotics Camp this weekend. Seniors Lester Henderson and Kobe Long were fully offered band scholarships to Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee. As always, I would like to thank Mr. Easton and Mr. Starks for giving me the opportunity to serve on this board as student representative for Southfield Regional Academic Campus.
Thank you very much. Jolena Chiangon from University High Academy.
Sorry, everyone. All right, good evening.
Good evening.
So for my report, I wanted to start and just give another round of applause for all the accolades that my fellow classmates and when they were here earlier. So just another round of applause for everything they've done. And so with that being said, the first thing coming up at university is next week is Earth Week. So in honor of that, our Green Club is going to have a series of events and activities to raise, I guess, awareness and just celebrate the Earth. So we'll be having some themed dress down days. We'll be having a fundraiser to donate food to Forgotten Harbors for people. We'll be having bottle toss and just various events throughout the week for Earth Week, because we don't always celebrate it all the time. So I look forward to that. And then we're also having our Fine Arts Festival on April 27th. And so we're going to get to bring to light the dance team, the vocal choir. And we'll also be having an art showcase to showcase the art of our students in the various classes. And it'll be in a type of display form, sort of like a gala. And our students, parents, staff are all able to come and attend the event and just get the artsy side of our academic school. And then also our UPrep and UHSA PTA will be having our annual Global, which will be this Thursday from 6 to 8:30. If you're interested, you can get tickets. They're $12, or at the door they're $14. And it's at Hartfield Lanes this Thursday to raise money for our students. And then also something exciting for me, we are having our decision day, or not decision day, our senior signing day coming up May 3rd, where our senior students will be able to announce where we're going to go for post-secondary education and answer all the questions of where you're going to college that we're asked every day. So I'm looking forward to that and making a decision as to where I'll be going to college. And then lastly, at university we have our seminar leaders, which are students that senior students who give lessons and workshops to our underclassmen and 11th graders in the school. So the last habit we had is called Sharpen the Saw, and this workshop pretty much focuses on self-care. So sometimes students are really stressed, they have a lot of things and responsibilities going on, and sometimes we feel pressured. So our senior students did a workshop teaching students to have a discussion about stress and also ways to manage it, since you don't always talk about that. So it was very successful, and our underclassmen enjoy that. So my report was short for today, and that concludes my Eagle report.
Thank you so much. Student reps, you may be excused. You may leave now if you like. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Wood, this is your
Yes, it is.
superintendent's
And
report.
thank you, Board President, and thank you, Board, this evening, and our parents, students, and community that may be tuned in. My report is going to be a little short this evening, because what's most important for that I share is that this is the first week of testing for our children in our buildings, and it's a very serious period of the year, as with all periods of the year. But the beginning, after our break, we have our elementary students, our middle school students, and our high school students, as you heard, engaged in a series of tests over the next several weeks. And I'm asking for our parents, as well as all the adults in their lives, to please ensure that we're doing all that we can to support our children as they prepare for showing what they really understand in each of the subjects that they'll be tested in. And one of the things that our parents can really help is to set a reasonable bedtime and stick to it. You heard many things earlier from our police chief. Parents being parents, and ensuring that that is something that is important. Sometimes it's underestimated, the importance of a rested mind and body. And tired children sometimes have difficulty focusing and are easily flustered by challenges. So be mindful of that as we prepare our children. Also make sure that our children have enough time to wake up fully before they go to school. So that means just as rest as is important, so is having enough time in the morning to engage the brain and get everything in gear. meaning ensuring that there's a breakfast involved and time and not flustered in the morning. Just being mindful of all these things as we're preparing our children to be the most optimally ready for testing. I will also say that we want to ensure that there is a breakfast, and oftentimes it may be easy to give a very high sugary breakfast, but having something where there's protein, we want to make sure we're doing that for our children. Kids learn better on a full stomach, but if their stomachs are full of sugar and heavy foods that'll make them sleepy, that's not going to be best for a morning where they're going to be engaged in testing. And talk to your child. How did the test go? How did your day go? What did you do well with? And how can I help you do and be better the next day? So these are all very important points that I wanted to share. But I equally wanted to share, and if Ms. Paulette would pull up the slide about our upcoming parent university. And I'm very pleased about this upcoming parent university because it kind of couples what I just talked about. We're doing this in conjunction with Michigan State University Medical School, and one of the major themes for this parent university is wellness, and talking about the relationship between academic success and the health of our children. And so sometimes our parents have talked about the food that we're feeding our children. Fast food is not the right kind of food for our children. And so having a dietitian, just to give a little insight for our parents. And we have many parents who are right on board and doing the right thing regarding healthy eating, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew this was going to be a part of the topic. Stress management for parents, emotional well-being. And I will also say that I'm very pleased that we're beginning to engage in partnership and conversations with Providence Hospital. So this whole little piece, so this whole parent university will have a theme of how to help your child, but also how to help your child and as a parent in the whole area of wellness. The next thing that I wanted to announce is Coffee and Conversation, and I believe there's a flyer that will be projected about Coffee and Conversation, but that will be held on Saturday, May 6th, right here at JWE from 9 to 11. And of course, there will be many rich topics that we'll discuss, and I like to be led by the questions in the audience, but I do want to make sure that there's an update on legislative issues, summer programming for our children, and many more topics. So I look forward to seeing many of you that are here this evening at our parent workshop as well as our Coffee and Conversation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cabinet, and Ms. Hall, you will have.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The personnel action report is contained within the consent agenda this evening for approval. However, I want to draw your attention to two items that are on that report. Particularly the first is the January transactions. Those transactions came up early on, but they were in error. Jeremy Brock was actually listed early on as an English teacher. However, he's a social studies teacher. And he took the social studies position of Mr. Kenward, who stepped into the IB coordinator's position on that same day. Hence the reason their dates are both the same at January 17th. Also, you will see non-renewals on the action report. And the non-renewal process in relation to the revised student code is to begin its process at 90 days out, where you make a notification to those that are impacted, and it carries on through a process for 60 to 30 days. And we could discuss that a little bit more in detail in a closed session. Okay.
So, point of clarity, because we still have discussion, should we pull that report until we are solid on all of the information, particularly regarding items 4 and 5?
To the 13th.
Until the next time, and we can approve it. If we're going to go into closed session, just to get some more insight.
I request the same.
My preference would be to take line item 4 and 5 out and still act on it. So, just so you know, when we get to that. I think we could take 4 and 5, those lines out, move on that.
Move the rest, and
We've done that before.
I'm fine with that. I have no objections to that, but I
Okay.
think we still need to.
Is that okay with everybody else? Okay, we can do that. Okay.
Anything else?
Okay.
Good evening. What we've adopted is bringing year-to-date results for our general fund, both for the Board of Education and the community, as an indication, again, where we stand, and just as verification that we do look at those results and analyze them on a monthly basis. So this is the results through March 31st. I don't know if this will, yes. So overall, again, our fiscal year runs from July 1st through June 30th. So just as a benchmark kind of thing, we are 9 months complete into the year, so roughly it's 75%. But again, the type of accounting methodology that we use is a modified accrual, which essentially means that we record things on a cash basis throughout the year, and when June comes along, we take care of any year-end accruals that are needed. A lot of things, the timing changes a little bit throughout the year, and I'll kind of highlight those as we go along. But our revenues, we've collected 72% to date. I have a detailed slide that follows. So we've got $61.7 million that's been received out of an $85.6 million budget. That budget, again, was the amended budget that the board approved in December. And our expenditures through the end of March are at 60%, or $53.8 million have actually been spent out of a nearly $90 million allocation. Just to give a little bit more detail on the revenues, it's kind of broken down as the board approves it. The budget comes in as local, state, and then actually other areas, but I've broken it down so we can see the Oakland Schools amount. Our local local is primarily property taxes and some of the rentals of the facilities. So we're at about 86% received to date, which makes sense because our property taxes are due by February 28th. We will be receiving a final payment from the county to make us whole, but that may go as long as through June to receive that payment. The state payment of 55% is exactly the 6 payments that we have received from the state. We receive payments from October through August. That will be part of the year-end accrual. Oakland Schools, we received 72%. And again, a lot of that payment that's from the Public Act 18 for special ed dollars. But again, in June is when we receive a lot of the other areas, such as our Medicaid reimbursement, some of the transportation costs, or reimbursements for the CTE programs. So that's why they lag in this particular area. They'll catch up in June, and we'll also have some accruals then. On the expenditure side, again, it's an $89.8 million budget. We've actually spent, as you see in the distribution report that comes later in the consent agenda, about $54 million. And this is just broken down into the areas as, again, the board approves the budget into instruction, support services, athletics, community services. The biggest accrual we have at year end is for teachers that and other positions that are on a long pay, and also the July and August benefits associated with those contracts. We'll have a budget amendment coming forth in the next couple sessions that we have, hopefully targeted for May 9th to come back for approval on the amended budget. Are there any questions on this high-level presentation?
Just a couple comments. First off, I applaud this district for taking time to put this up for the community to see. Hasn't always been that way, especially with pie charts and make it nice and visual. The second thing is I am still in the process of reviewing the Oakland Schools budget and welcome any of you who want to take a peek. But one thing that I noticed was they were also at about I think it was about $5 million deficit in terms of revenues to expenditures. And so I looked at that and I was like, oh, so it's not just, it's not just the little school districts, it's our ISD. So I appreciate that. I think it was in the other slide, but it had Oakland schools there, nice and visible for folks to see. When those tax checks come, or tax bills come, I'll say it all the time, make sure you look at the line item for that education, because it's not always directly to Southfield. There's channels that it follows. And then just the, I think the last thing that I was gonna mention, you already spoke about, which is just the lag. That there's a tremendous lag between when you spend and when you get back, particularly when we talked about Medicaid. Our new director's in the building, and just, it looks like you've got a whole bunch, but it's all in a lag kind of a feeling. And so Medicaid and all, as soon as those checks clear, then things feel like they're a little bit better, but you have to pay that out ahead of time. So it's a definite, it's nothing to glaze over. I mean, this is our ability to do business, educate kids, so.
Okay. Anybody else?
That concludes my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dinkovich.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have 3 reports this evening. First, we're going to have Anika McEvans, who is our athletic director, come forward and talk about our athletics. Do you have a pointer?
Good evening, everyone. I am Anika McEvans, athletic director for the District of Southfield, and we've had a tremendous year in athletics, but I think the kids can say it better than I can, so rather than me do a lot of talking, I'm going to play our slideshow, or ask Ms. Paulette to play our slideshow. So again, I do apologize for the length, but when you support 32 athletic teams, over 1,000 student athletes across your district, including 137 multi-sport athletes at the high school level alone, played 275 plus games, put in over 1,000 practice hours, have an average overall high school student athlete GPA of 2.8, 3 academic all-state teams, wrestling, girls basketball, and football, 2 OAA league champions in football and girls basketball, 3 district championships in football, girls basketball, and wrestling, 1 regional championship in girls basketball, 1 quarterfinal win in girls basketball, 1 Final Four appearance in girls basketball, 20 athletic scholarships representing over $18 million, and a spring signing day yet to come April 19th, and an entire spring sports season to go for both our high school and middle school. You see why it took so many slides to get through all of our kids. So thank you for your time and your continued support this year. They look good too, just want to point that out.
Yes.
Right?
Amen. Yeah.
I also want to just say that thanks to the support that we get from our school district and our board, we continuously across Oakland County and across the state have some of the largest programs, some of the most successful programs, and some, I promise you, the most well-represented programs against anyone in Oakland County and across the state. So thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell us how our girls' swimming team is doing?
Well, we need some girl swimmers. So we actually are starting a Learn to Swim program this year where we're going to start recruiting some of our middle school students. In particular, a lot of these initiatives are going to be at the Lathrop campus. So we're really trying to work with MacArthur and UPrep to get the middle school students started earlier, because we have about 12 girl swimmers total that ever went in the pool. We don't win a lot of meets. We have one of the smallest teams actually in girls swim. But our goal is to get more kids in the pool over there. So we also have since we're talking about what we're doing for middle school, we also have a tennis program that'll be coming for in partnership with Southfield Youth Tennis to get again kids started a lot earlier, as well as possibly a golf program. So.
Great, thank you. Great, Yolanda.
And you speak to, it said baseball coming, and then I saw a banner there that said Rise to Win.
Yes.
Race relations.
Mm-hmm. So we were selected to participate. We're one of 7 schools in the state. Actually, high schools across the country were one of only 12. And we're a part of a program that's called RISE, which is the Ross Initiative for Sports Equity. And so that program, basically, our student athletes went through a training program, both sports in the fall and in the winter. They do various discussions, various coursework, things like that, to discuss how they can use their platform as student athletes to impact their community, in particular in the area of race relations. So that's what that program is about. And some of the pictures you saw at the Palace or with the Pistons players, the Pistons are a partner with that initiative along with the University of Michigan, Michigan State, and the Miami Dolphins, and our high school students. So.
Great, thank you, very good.
Thank you.
Yolanda?
Yeah, so again, with the Title IX compliance piece, just wanting to know what time of year that is and if we can make sure that the board is able to glance over it, because it's about, I shouldn't say equal distribution, but some type of equitable distribution amongst our teams and whatnot. And when we go out, we should be able to speak to that and not guess. So I think that's
something we can add to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you finished, Mr. Lopez?
So I do also have 2 additional reports this evening. We're going to first start with the one-to-one computer initiative report for the year. And so this past year, hopefully this works. This past year, the board approved the purchase of 700 devices that were for our one-to-one initiative at the 9th grade across the district. That's for Southfield High School for the Arts and Technology, that's for the University High School Academy, and that is for Southfield Regional Academic Campus. We also expanded the wireless at those schools for 6 wireless access points for access for the students at a total cost of about $144,000 for the year. Our goal is to actually have a one-to-one utilization at the high school level over a 4-year period. And so this was a part of our refresh. So this year we had an orientation for parents and students for the process. We had several parent nights. We had 6 parent nights in total at the U and at A&T. And all students were required to complete a digital citizenship course during the seminar. And parents were required as a part of their orientation to do a digital citizenship workshop during the orientation. We required, for insurance purposes, $25 per Chromebook that was paid by parents upon the completion of the digital citizenship in cash or on money order. The form expressly stated that there would be 2 repairs covered by the insurance, and if the Chromebook was damaged, there would be full replacement cost at the cost of the parent. The insurance was collected during parent nights and then following by our school secretaries within the building when parents weren't able to attend. This year, we have 384 students at the high school in the 9th grade. 205 students actually paid the insurance and completed the contract. So we had an average participation of about 53% students. Note, students who did not participate still had access to the device during seminar because the seminar teachers actually had devices for the students in their classes. So they still had access to it even if they did not, were not able to take them home. Of the 205 devices, we only had 21 who needed a repair, which was pretty good. That was actually the estimate that was given by Wes at the beginning of the year. So we collected total insurance of about $5,100. Total cost of repairs is about $100 each time because of the man hours there. So we really did take good care of these. Our kids did take good care of them. They were good digital citizens, quite frankly. Note that even if they did not complete the one-to-one device, they still had the opportunity to use device, as I said, during seminar. So how do we integrate it? We still have a lot of learning to do, but we did summer PD for, Stephanie Carnes came and spoke to you about this already. We did Google Classroom orientations for teachers. We also had our academy teachers learn how to use Google Classrooms and to post assignments and resources. We had weekly tech tips with teachers. One-to-one support was given as needed by Stephanie and Wes, and then the digital citizenship courses by all of the students. At University High School, we had 109 total students in the 9th grade. 87 students participated with about an 80% participation rate. There were only 2 devices that needed repair at the U, 2.2% rate. We collected $2,100 in insurance there, so total cost of repairs was $198 total. So overall, across the district, we had about a 6.6% repair rate, which is excellent for devices. They were really sturdy, and our kids did well with them. Quotes by teachers. They have helped me to roll out Google Classroom and get away from the textbook. Students have access to digital textbooks and all course materials online at home. They are also able to seamlessly collaborate. I've been able to make less copies. Yay. Use Google Classroom more, and of course, students have access to the internet at all times. They have been a great advantage because most students have access to technology to do in-class assignments that are required tech devices. Students were able to continue working on their work at home if they didn't finish it in class. Suggestions by teachers. Students who didn't sign waivers still need access for them to do their classwork. So again, we did have the catch-all in seminar that happened 3 days a week, but there still wasn't enough access, and so we need to figure out how to get more parents to buy in or have kids to bring their own devices to school. One of the suggestions is that if our teachers had a set of 32 Chromebooks, students would have access to them during all of their classrooms, but that's a cost issue that we have to sort of pay attention to. Other items to ponder. Distribution was, we have lessons to learn. Distributions was somewhat cumbersome because it was our first time doing it. We have to really talk with our teachers about how we might collect and distribute them better in the coming year more effectively. They were not inspected regularly and turned in as we had hoped. We have to figure out how to monitor that better. We did have some extenuating circumstances with administrators being out on illness that did not allow that to happen as readily as we wanted to do so. There's also, when teachers collected them, there was also an issue with respect to power and how they would be powered up. So we need to think about that for our students. And so how might we better facilitate that process as an item or question to ponder for next year. Next year, our costs are, we propose 600 devices being purchased. We don't have to do any of the infrastructure work. So the cost is about $138,000 for all of the 9th graders who we anticipate coming into the district, who are matriculating up from the 8th grade or who are coming from the outside. We do know that there is almost always about 100 students in the 9th grade that come back to Southfield Public Schools from charter and private schools at the 9th grade because they're not available as readily. So that's the report for the one-to-one devices. Are there any questions?
Mr. Lopez, yes, I have a question.
Sure.
You touched on how integration is occurring, the use of these devices. I would be interested in seeing more detail related to that.
Yeah.
Because when I look at, well, students in my house, and when they're applying for college, they have to use the internet and have to apply for college. When they have to apply for a job, I would like to see some of that type of review occur in using these devices in school, because we can't assume because a child can go on to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that they know how to use it for more practical methods. And so I'm encouraged that you all are at least providing a one-to-one for the students, but I'd like to see it be more robust in utilization of those devices.
So there's an academic language that our kids are not familiar with. Just like with respect to English, and the respect that we have actually colloquial English, there's a colloquial use of technology.
Yes.
And then there's like an academic use of technology. And so we actually have to begin to scaffold our kids from that colloquial use of technology, Instagram, Facebook, into the academic use of technology, which is one of those things that they have to be familiarity with when they get to college. And so that is actually why it's important for us to actually have our teachers become digital natives instead of immigrants, so that our kids are able to actually have that language transfer around academic and technology. Thank you.
Question. Trustee Hicks kind of asked a similar question. Are the technical devices provided during seminar? I saw a seminar up there, but they are?
Yes.
Okay. And then is the intent that the additional devices will be because what we've already distributed to the students, they would stay with them?
Yes. So very good question. So at the end of this year, the students in the 9th grade, those devices will remain in the building for the summer, and they will be checked in, and we will look to see what repairs are needed for those to make sure that they're available for next year. The students will get the same device they were given this year next year. Those students coming into the 9th grade will get the new technology. And so by the end of, hopefully by the fall, half of our students will actually have one-to-one technology use at the high school in the 9th grade, and there'll be a 1-to-2 use at the 11th and 12th grade. And so there is actually a really, it's almost a 1 to 1.5 ratio of technology at the high schools when we end this year, or we begin next year. And so yes, they do grow with the youngsters, and then at the end of the 4 years, the youngsters are able to take them with them. Because the Chromebooks are pretty durable, and they are actually internet-based devices. And so as the internet updates its technology, those devices also update.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay.
My last report is pretty brief. It is a curriculum update that was requested by the board. So on March 29, 2017, we had our first meeting of the curriculum team that occurred from 2 to 4 p.m. We had an agenda. We really wanted to begin to think about the curriculum vision for the district. What is the vision? Developing a shared understanding of critical terms was what we wanted to make sure we did, as well as understanding the blueprint framework, because we really wanted to make sure that the team that was working on this had an understanding of what we'd already done and what we're planning to do. And so the participants are listed there for you. We had 12 people in the room. They were directors in division. They were principals at all levels, and the 2 PD facilitators. Only because this is the visioning section, we have not included teachers because it was happening during the day. And we did not want to remove teachers from the classroom. But as we do the curriculum work, of course, teachers will be more heavily involved. So this is what we looked at. What have we done in the district over the last several years around curriculum? What are the critical terms, and how do we actually understand what we say we have already done in the district? So differentiated instruction, understanding by design, common core standards versus traditional standards, and there's a difference. Learning experiences versus traditional learning planning, which is a true difference. Disciplinary literacy and deeper learning. And so this is our work. These are our artifacts. We just got up and we charted what we know. That's a formative assessment space. What do we know, and what do we already know about what we do, and how well do we do it, was what we engaged in as our first part of the discussion. And I think a copy of this will be provided to you later so you can see the artifacts. But that was the beginning, because again, as Dr. Wood has said, we don't want to redo something that we already do well. We want to enhance what we're already doing well. So then the second piece was, how do we develop a shared understanding of what curriculum and what assessment is? Because we don't have a shared understanding of what that is. And so the teams then struggled to develop working definitions over about 45 minutes about what curriculum means to them and what assessment means to them. And so these are the working definitions that are iterative, of course, that can change as we get along and move into the process. But curriculum provides units of study that define essential learning outcomes by using multiple pathways and structured planned learning opportunities, as well as assessment being a collection of data used to evaluate student thinking and to guide future instruction. The second part was to actually begin to explore the rubric for the Blueprint for Advancement and to see what it means to literally develop a system that is concerned with implementing and supporting a vision for high quality instruction that is subject specific, that is ambitious, that impacts students and teacher learning and performance in our schools. And then we discussed the process for creating that vision. You have been made familiar of the Blueprint and how that process is really important. Process is learning, process is understanding. And so the people in the room have to begin to share that understanding and share that understanding of process before we can move forward. And so that work will continue throughout the month of April. So we will be able to hopefully report to the board in May a vision for high quality subject specific instruction that will then be able to allow us to move specifically into mathematics instruction K-12, English language arts instruction K-12, science instruction 610, and social studies instruction 610. So that's the update. Are there any questions?
Yeah, more of a statement, Mr. Lopez. So you've had the vision meeting, you have planning additional vision meetings.
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal to have this rolled out for next school year?
Very good question. Yeah, so the goal really is to actually have curriculum frameworks K-12 for mathematics and for English language arts ready for the second week of July. So the teachers will actually be able to go home and have a framework. What does it mean? What should students be thinking about when they're doing learning experiences in the classroom, K-12, ELA, and mathematics by that time? We will be working on social studies and science during the school year this year, during our common planning periods, because those are new iterations or new sequences that our teachers will be able to work on during their common planning period. So we'll be actually using May and June to actually do the work of the science and social studies rollout, our development curriculum, so that by the second week of July, they will also have frameworks within which they can work and begin to prepare their lessons for the fall. So the goal really is for us by mid-July, pretty ambitious, to actually have K-12 frameworks written for teachers, not like the old documents that are these binders, but frameworks for what kids should be knowing and be able to do and think about in sequence, K through 12, math and English, and in social studies 610 and science 610.
Trustee Robinson? Oh, you can go first. Yeah. I'm glad I have a good board because you guys are going to scaffold me. I'm going to go in one lane. I know others are going to go in a different lane, but I want to make sure that we're capturing all of this because my hope is that this is Magna Award based. I shouldn't say based, but I'd like to see us apply for the Magna Award when we get this all underway because it's a monumental, heavy lifting type of thing that the district has embarked on that the state of Michigan can't even do. I'll say it again. The state of Michigan can't even do. So kudos, Dr. Wood, cabinet, board. That's all I gotta say.
Ms. Rice?
Just a clarifying question. I know when we last saw the report, the science was focused on 9th through 12th grade. Sounds like we've shifted to 6th through 10th grade.
Yes, we had to. Well, not had to, but the thinking is because of the NGSS standards, the standards, they are really spiraling 610. So to do 9, 10, and 11, and 9 and 10 in isolation didn't make a lot of sense because what we're studying in 6, 7, and 8 actually is preparation for 9, 10. And so we really said, why are we doing this in sort of isolation when in fact we really need to be thinking about what's happening 6, 7, 8, 9 so that we can actually prepare our kids specifically for what's happening in earth science, earth and space science, and in physical science, and in life science in 9 and 10. So yes, it did expand.
Glad to hear we're making a change.
So one more. So you mentioned the heavy lifting that's being done and the framework that's going to be available July. Are you also talking about ways to make sure that it's adopted and implemented and measured?
Sure. So absolutely, the question, so in the instructional infrastructure, part of what is important in this development of a curriculum is that teachers literally have learning opportunities to learn the curriculum alongside professionals as they do the work, and then have frequent feedback about how well they're doing amongst their colleagues. So while we're developing the master schedules for teachers, we're really trying to figure out how to make common planning available so that PD facilitators and other experts can go in and begin to sort of manipulate and say, okay, did this work in this unit? Did it not work in this unit? Because ultimately the goal is to actually refine this year in and year out, not in the 5-year cycles that have been traditional, but to refine it year in and year out so that we will know that we're keeping up with what's happening in the most recent standards, as well as making sure that our teachers are actually embedding professional development alongside their work. So they have to be lifelong learners in this work. It's not something that you can just say, I know and I can teach for the next 20 years. I literally have to learn it alongside our kids because what they're thinking about is changing daily.
Thank you.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you reading my mind?
No.
Science? No, you're not?
No.
Science, K-5? I know we can't take a deep dive, and I've mentioned it before and I've asked about it. What is at least the plan? One for, particularly with the science and the new standards, having our teachers leave the school year at least with some type of framework or some type of understanding of how they can start to attack that over the summer. And then what is the plan to actually bring that into the blueprint?
Very good
Science
question.
K-5.
So the answer to your first question is that we actually have a fourth and fifth grade specialties in math and science, and Dr. Wood has that team meeting ongoing, and they're already doing the NGSS as a part of their work. And so for 4th and 5th grade, we are going to be in good shape because we began that work this past year in mathematics and in science. K through 3, we have, as you saw on the board, we have Sandy LaPerriere and we have Kim Beckwith on that team. And so they'll be working to figure out exactly what can we attack, what part of the apple we can bite and actually chew as we do that work in the coming year, and sharing that with Cindy and with Ms. Watson, and with Sharon Lewis at the other schools. And so that work is important. We're just trying to figure out what we can chew pretty heftily and do well in this first year, and then roll out the remainder for the following year.
Thank you.
Any
Very good
questions?
questions.
Okay, thank you. At the end of your report? Okay.
That completes it, yes.
Okay, now, Head Start, Mrs. Charles.
Thank you. I'll, for sake of time, just highlight the changes. So, of course, this is the Bussey Center for Early Education, Early Childhood Education, a member of the Southfield Public Schools District. Updates include there was an increase for the Head Start enrollment. There were no changes in GSRP or on the waiting list or under the drops. The one highlight there is under additional information, which is still recruiting 3 more eligible children to start the program. The next slide talks about the average daily attendance and the CACFP. We are in the red as far as attendance for Bussey at 82.86%. You recall there was issues with COPA from February, so that's both in the attachment that I sent out earlier. I think it is important to recognize the positive stuff, and so I do want to shout out the horse room, the parrot room, the fish room, and the zebra room at Bussey for back-to-back mentions for great attendance. So kudos to those families, because it takes a family to get them there. CACFP, you can see the meals served for Head Start, 1,986, 2,303, 628. And forgive me if I skip over GSRP, but that's not where the mandate is. We were mandated to report out on a Head Start. So you can read that or contact Bussey for more information. We did have a family service worker resignation that is in the consent agenda, and thus a vacancy now. You can see the health updates. There was 4 dental referrals based on screenings, and we are in compliance for all those screenings. You can see 19 of the 20 students with IEPs are in the Head Start lane. Regarding key findings, the only real update at this time is that there was a risk call regarding under-enrollment plan and timetable. And it's not news to us. We've had conversations with Ms. Hill over the last few months about it, and definitely want to make sure that things get better in terms of enrollment. The next slide talks about upcoming events. April is the month of the young child. Ms. Hill is very, very big advocate of young children, and I'm sure Bussy is decked out in purple, I believe is the color, so let's be, is it, okay. So let's be very mindful of the month of April and the young child and the role and impact we all play in their lives. You can see there was a fire drill today, a tornado drill on the 13th, family engagement on the 12th and the 26th, but most importantly, the recruitment and enrollment fair April 28th between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So share that information with some of your constituents on social media. Regarding our finances, total resources and budget, again, thank you, Kate. I just copy and paste these wonderful charts. You can see the budget there. You can see the year-to-date actual as it relates to federal, district, and COPA. And then the next slide talks about local match, families, and community. You can see where we are and where we need to be. So let's really ramp up those in-kinds. And I believe that concludes this Head Start report.
Any questions? Okay. We will continue with our public participation. Who is this? Joy Forrest, would you come to the podium, please?
Good evening. My name is Joy Forrest. I live at 25450 Friar Lane, 483033. I am a parent of 4 children who are in the district, and I've been with the district for about 8 years. They've traveled through Bussy and all the way at Levy now. I have children at Thompson KA International Academy, where I'm also the president of the PTO. I am here to speak about against the privatization of the secretarial staff. All throughout those years that I've said, I've always had that constant, seen that constant face when I came in. The secretaries are the first faces that you see, and you want to know that your children are being taken care of, and they have that, that you see them and you know them every day. You don't want, I've seen children come in who maybe their parents work late at night and they just get on the bus on their own, and they come and they look or need some help with a hairstyle or something like that. And the secretaries take the time to do that, and they help out with that. You're not going to get that with people who come in or temporary staffing and things like that. You won't get that comfortability that the children will feel comfortable coming in or dealing with kids that have had accidents. The teachers, the other staff won't have that relationship and that rapport with the students, and as well as the parents. I like to know that when I call and I have a concern about my children, that I'm speaking to somebody who knows my children and has the same, they understand my children. They have that relationship. They want to care for my children as well. So I think that going out and not having that constant, I left my notes and sitting down, I'm sorry. But just like you want to know, and I use the analogy of going to your doctor compared to going to maybe the emergency. You go to your doctor because they know you. The nurses know you, and they're there. And that's how I feel like if you do that and you privatize the staff, the secretarial staff, you won't have that relationship or that rapport that you get at your doctor's office compared to an emergency room where they don't really care. They just want to get you in and out. And I don't want our children to feel like that, or okay, you had an accident, okay, sit down, but the relationship that the secretaries have with the students is awesome. The children, they need that. They need to be able to feel comfortable going into the office with any type of problem or concern, and they need to know that they are there and that they care. So I am against it, and I'm a parent, and I'm against privatization. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Toby Berger.
Good evening, everyone.
can see me and hear me. I have to say that this is well past my bedtime, but this was really too important of an occasion for me not to be here. And I'm speaking of the privatization of secretaries, which I'm one of, as you can see by my green shirt. And you can see others in the audience as well. Responsible, dedicated, trustworthy, loyal, hardworking, indispensable, compassionate, generous, accountable, multitasking, proficient, committed, reliable. Oh, and did I mention multitasking? These are just some of the traits and qualities that we as administrative assistants bring to our workplace every day. Add in our extensive and diverse knowledge, expertise, and years of experience, all other vital attributes in performing our duties and tasks efficiently and effectively every day. And you know what? I didn't mention what my address was, did I? But can I do that at the end? Okay.
Sure.
Some of the hats that we as ESOS members wear and switch to at a moment's notice: bookkeeper, PR professional, IT guru, psychologist, accountant, doctor, dentist, yes, dentist, security guard, count day specialist, and that's just in the morning, believe it or not. We know that we've made a difference in the lives of our students when they come back after graduating high school or middle school to thank us for our kindness, advice, and patience, while as students, they may have spent a lot of time in the office. But as young adults, they come to understand that we are more than secretaries. We are professional, hardworking, dependable, and indispensable. And for all the teachers and administrators out there, please be advised that Administrative Professionals Day is Wednesday, April 26th, so mark your calendar. And that is the day that, our administrators and staff gather to support their, and to show their appreciation for our diligence, dedication, and support. And we can only hope that you all recognize our worth too before it's too late. Thank you very much. And just in case you need to send those cards and letters, Toby Berger, 7269 Creeks Bend Court, West Bloomfield, Michigan, 48322. Thank you.
Shawana Watts.
My name is Shawana Watts. My address is 27837 Sunset Boulevard West, Lathrop Village, Michigan, 48076. And I'm representing the PTO board of our school, which is McIntyre Elementary. And I'm opposed to the privatization of the secretaries. I think a couple of people have kind of stolen my speech here, but I'll still say it. No, but didn't want to be political. I don't have graphs and charts or anything, so I want to speak from my heart, right? And I have currently have a 5th grader at McIntyre Elementary, and my middle son is a former student of McIntyre Elementary, and he's now a sophomore at A&T High School. So as you know, I've been in the McIntyre community for quite some time now. And I'm here to support our secretary, Mrs. Berger, and also her right hand, who's not here, Ms. Slappy, whom Ms. Berger is the pillar of our McIntyre family. And I speak of it as a family because it's just as if we, like you go to your aunt's house, your favorite aunt, and she's the loving aunt whose house you want to go to on break or whatever, right, on vacation. And that's the feeling that I get when I enter into the front office, because I'm being greeted by Miss Berger and Miss Slappy, and they treat me as if I'm family, right? She and Miss Slappy are irreplaceable. And there isn't a Kelly girl or a Manpower employee that could perform the duties that they execute on a daily basis, with knowing each child's name by heart. You know, they love these kids as if they were their own. They know their attitudes, their likes, their dislikes, even the dosage of medicine that they take on a daily basis, right? So, and this not only takes skill, but it takes extreme dedication, integrity, commitment, trustworthiness, sincerity, professionalism, experience, and most importantly, love. And that's exactly what Ms. Berger and Ms. Slappy exemplify daily to our students and our parents. And to privatize their jobs would be a huge mistake and a disservice to our McIntyre family. Thank you for your time, and I love you.
Thank you. Don Hodges.
Hi, my name is Dawn Hatches. I live at 2951 Rose, Milford, Michigan, and I'm here also to speak on the privatization of our secretaries. At one point, there was a random amount of about $500,000 put out there that that's what would save you guys if you privatized us. In the past few meetings, I've learned that transportation has a $400,000 budget, but they only use about $200,000. Going from consumers to the open market for heating costs would save about an additional $40,000. The state is increasing your student monies by about $50 per student. That's about another $316,000. So right there is about $550,000 that you're getting, plus with whatever you'd make if you do privatize us. Last year you disrupted the district with the closing of Brace and Southfield Lathrop. You put secretaries in new positions with minimal training. Things didn't go so well at the beginning of the year at some of the buildings hosting the newly placed secretaries, but they caught on and are now doing just fine. As we go towards the end of this school year, you are again disrupting the flow by moving the student database program from front office to MyStar. That is supposed to be completed by the end of September 2017, and that's just before count day. The building secretaries know the ins and outs of this program. We know things about the program that you all at JWE don't really know, like for instance the reports that we need to run the count day. You just transferred over the attendance piece, and the most important reports were not included in that transfer. Do you really want a new person who has never done a count day before doing it next year for you when you claim the district's finances are in question? That's about a total of $69 million roughly that you get from the state. I'm pretty sure you would want most of that money if you could get it without any errors. Who is going to do your elementary scheduling, your attendance to make sure it's perfect, the reports for count day, the reports for honor roll, perfect attendance, the criteria that you need for your Wolverine Pathways program that you're running, because the ones in MyStar that are already in there have anomalies and don't quite work the way that they should. Privatizing the secretaries could also have an impact on the FERPA laws. How do you think the community will feel with a third-party secretary being in charge of the children's records and that their privacy could possibly be at stake? President Robinson, you seem generally concerned the past few meetings about the employees, other employees that you're talking about privatizing. You know, if they would be taken on, if people would lose pay. I don't know if you realize this, but if you privatize us, there's only about less than half of us that would keep our jobs because a third-party administrator is not going to take all of us. They will only take about 40% of us. So you're throwing about 17 people out on the streets without a job. So I hope when you finalize that decision, I hope you will take that into consideration and have the same concerns for us. You will be putting, oh, I already said that, sorry. With all the programs, helping the buildings run without glitches, getting the students, parents, and staff what they need, secretaries are an integral part of the district and should not be so easily dismissed. Thank you.
Okay, Aisha Humphrey.
My name is Aisha Humphrey. I live at 21700 Virginia Street in Southfield, Michigan, where I pay a whole lot of taxes to support this school district. I'm also the Bernie treasurer for the PTA, and I've only been in this district for 2 years. I came from West Bloomfield, because I pay a whole lot of taxes for my child to go to a school in the district that I live in. So I'm kind of concerned about where my money is going and what it's being spent on. I find it kind of ironic that you want to privatize the clerical staff when you've gotten nothing but complaints about every other service that has been privatized. Again, I've only been here 2 years. I've had trouble with the buses. My son does not eat that school lunch. His school is filthy, and there's one security officer in the entire school, and there's a fight challenge that's been going on there for I don't know how long, but nobody can catch it. So you're going to privatize this service. What's going to then happen is that you're just going to rubber stamp it like you rubber stamped every other contract that came through here, not accepting new bids because this is based on an amount. Not the service they provide, but how much money. And at last count, you have 19 people in this district that get paid more than $100,000. 19. They don't make $100,000 each the last time I checked, because I read the contract. They top out somewhere about $37,000. If they're lucky, they hit 40. So the first point that you want to make to balance the budget, which the one that you have posted for next year is actually technically balanced, so I'm not sure of the issue, is to cut the people at the bottom, the ones who are doing the work on the front lines. I find that extremely troubling because, again, I pay a whole lot of taxes. And last time I checked, most of your money comes from us who pay taxes. That's $42 million. You don't get that much from the state. You don't get that much from the county. So at least let us be the ones to make that decision and let you know. We walk in these buildings, we see this. And again, I've only been here 2 years, so I did not have the pleasure of voting for any of you. I don't know the history of any of that, but from what I'm seeing, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy at all. Someone needs to give a better explanation for this, because what's going to happen is you're going to look at it and say, oh, we saved $10, rubber stamp it, as if you're doing, or it's going to be so poorly planned that you need more time, you're going to ask for an extension like you've done for the EnviroClean contract. And again, that school is filthy, but you want another year because you're too busy taking bids for other contracts. How many of you are sitting up here? Divide and conquer, do it efficiently, but that's not a good enough reason, because this is our money and our children. And now it feels like I'm not sure who you're working for, because you technically work for us, because we pay this.
Thank you. Candace Washington.
Good evening. My name is Candace Washington. My address is 29915 Rambling Road, Southfield 48076. And I'm also here to support these ladies in green. Hi, Toby, I love you. And I think it's also a bad idea to privatize what they're doing. I mean, she's got my baby all day, my two babies all day. I've got a 4th grader and I've got a 1st grader at McIntyre Elementary. And I'm also the PTO treasurer at the school. This is my 4th school year doing that. And as a PTO member, first of all, we depend on the office staff. They help build us, but we also help build them too. I don't want to sound like a broken record because so many have already been here, but I kind of do want to sound like a broken record. CD, it's 2017. But I want you to know I feel the exact same way, so ditto all they said. I've got some notes, but they're all over the place because my brain is all over the place with this. I can't wrap my mind about it because I think of what priority is, and it seems like priority is save that money instead of have a comfortable environment for my children, where they know they're in an environment where they're loved and where they're respected. As it was said, Toby knows all those students by first and last name, by allergy, by special need, and I don't see that happening with anybody that you're gonna put in her place that's from Kelly Services or wherever else. I listened to others who have spoken today, like Ms. Rankin, and she thanked the administrative staff, and others thanked the administrative staff, and they might have said it quickly among others that they thanked, but they didn't have to thank them. But they thanked them for a reason, because they are the support for that school. And if that position is privatized, I don't think that anybody up here getting awards is going to be thanking that administrative staff. And that doesn't mean that people you might find aren't quick learners or won't care, but they're not going to have the love for the children that these ladies have. And I don't think that that's just a McIntyre sentiment. I think that that's how parents at all the schools feel. I think success isn't always, it's not quantifiable. You know, you can't measure it by numbers, and I feel very uncomfortable talking today because I just found out about this yesterday. We were at a PTO meeting, and the principal just happened to mention this, and I said, what? So I had to be here today to speak up about it. So had I not even been at that meeting last night, I wouldn't have known this. So I don't feel comfortable because I don't have facts and figures that I can spew off to you, but I do recognize love. Since I'm on the PTO board, I'm in that office all the time, and I see it with my own eyes, how they talk to the children, how they work with them. And I wrote down many of the things that I heard, that the administrative staff, their nurses, their dentists, their mentors, their therapists, not just for the students, but the staff as well. And that includes all the other 1,000 things that they do. So I just want you to know that I appreciate you, I support you, and I hope that this goal that you're trying to reach of budgeting and meeting your budgets, I hope you can find some other way to do it besides letting these ladies go.
Thank you. Georgeline Mitchell. She left.
I think she left. She sent an email.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All righty. Thank you. Yes.
I'm channeling former board president Buchanan for just a hot second because this meeting is televised, it's replayed, and it goes all out over the airwaves. Yep. And I would be remiss. I wouldn't even sit on this board. I would get up and leave right now if we were a rubber stamper. I like to just make sure that our listening viewers remind themselves that there were 2 contracts that came before us in the last month that we did not renew. I think we're pretty tough on our vendors, and just speaking from Yolanda, you know, only so many curveballs I want to throw at my superintendent, and those were a couple curveballs you didn't see coming, that we were not going to be in support of those contracts. So I just think it's important for the comprehensive message to be put forward, and that, as I say all the time, Ms. Patrice will tell you I say it, come to these study sessions. We're not hiding anything. I mean, come on, let's sup together on some of these challenges. And it's unfortunate that folks think that all we do is this second Tuesday meeting. There's a lot, and those are public meetings, open to the public, you know, FOIA, the whole thing. We are held to some tight restrictions. So I just didn't want the community to think that for one moment. Just check those last couple of meetings, and you can see we didn't renew. And we always have an option. We have options with all of our vendors. So I just wanted to, like I said, I couldn't let that just go out there in the airwaves.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Smith?
Yes, I would also like to make a comment, and not to step ahead of the process that has been put forth in the due diligence, but yeah. I just want to make sure that it is known, because I think misinformation gets out there, and we have to be very careful about that, because right now the story is people losing their job, and I just think that it's really important that we understand what the true message is, should be, and that no one up here has stated about people losing their job. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we're now at action item 7. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes from February 2nd, 14th, 18th, and March 7th, 14th, 21, and the report 55, 58, personnel action report, without items 4 and 5. Okay.
I move that we go ahead and open and approve the consent agenda containing the things that the board president just mentioned, with the removal of 4 and 5 from the personnel report. Support.
Any discussion?
Yeah, there's a couple of minutes that need to be. There's a few minutes that require being amended. Okay. So page 16, February 18th, 2017. There was a discussion related to the check register. Even though I have all the faith and the confidence of the treasurer, I have made requests to have copies of the check register as well for my review, because I believe we have a fiduciary responsibility, and that's been complied. But I just think and encourage the other board members to get a copy of that as well. On page 22, just as a date correction for the minutes for the March 14th minutes, the date listed on the report actually January 10th. So we need to have that amended as well.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
That's it? Okay, thank you for your corrections. Madam Secretary, we call for the roll call, please.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Hicks?
Yes.
Trustee Rice?
Yes.
Trustee Poole?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Trustee Robertson?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much. Okay, can I have a motion to approve Report 55-59, revised policy number 6110, grant funds, second reading and approval? Pardon me?
Reading.
I move we open report 5559, the revised policy number 6110, grants fund, second reading and approval.
Okay. Support. Thank you. Any discussion?
Just a question about second reading.
Okay.
Is it necessary for it to be allowed, or is it appropriate if we have already glanced over it? I just
Has
recall,
everybody read it?
we've read it in the aloud, but we don't have
Yeah.
to tonight.
Right, not allowed. I mean, but if everybody has read it and there's no questions, then,
I don't have any.
no?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, roll call vote. Madam Secretary?
Trustee Poole?
Yes.
Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Trustee Hicks?
Yes.
Trustee Rice?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Robertson?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve Report 5560, purchase of natural gas services?
I move that we open and approve Report 5560, purchase of natural gas services. Support.
Point of order.
Yes.
Can we just open it? And
Yep.
Open and approve?
Good point.
No.
Good point. Good point.
You can
That's
open
how we
it.
normally
Well,
just open.
Well, Robert's Rules of Order allows
But
you to do that.
It does allow you to do that, and we've done it in the past, but we generally like to get away from open and approve, assuming that it's an automatic approval.
So we
But
can have discussion.
You could always
Right.
reject it, though.
Right, right. That's how we've done it from a procedural standpoint. And
Okay.
we have done this in great lengths and
We'll talk
talked about
about
this
that.
in great
We'll talk
lengths
about
and
that
took
about
big
this.
pains on eliminating the word approve, open and approve.
Which would lend itself to us having two motions then.
Correct.
You would
Open.
open, have your little conversation, and then
But your approval would come with the vote. That's how it's always been done since I've been on the board. Now, we used to use that language, but we eliminated that language for that particular reason. Because you're gonna put out open and approve, an automatic assumption that we're gonna approve it.
But your vote,
That's a good point,
but
Madam
you're
Secretary.
still voting. You can always reject it.
You can, you could.
Okay.
But that gives a connotation to the community that you're open that for approval. Even though
Okay.
that might be the recommendation. And that's what happens in this case. The recommendation is to approve. But that's just been a practice
It's
that
already
we've had
because it's on the list.
since I've been on the board.
Right, I believe if I remember correctly, Karen mentioned that because it's in the recommendation stated as an approval, there was some teeth to being able to say open and approve because it was in the recommendation. But
Right.
the pleasure of the board, of course.
We had the, I think this is one of the meetings that you missed.
No, it's not a meeting that I missed. It's just a practice that we've always gone through. And we used to use the term open and approve.
Exactly. Okay, we'll discuss this afterwards. Okay.
But that was a point brought up by board secretary.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Any discussion? Any information?
Open and appoint.
Regarding the natural gas.
Yeah, natural gas.
Kate, would you like to provide any insight on this from Martha?
I'll be glad to just highlight
Sure.
it again.
Thank you.
Just
Go ahead.
briefly, the Michigan Public Service Commission allows customers to buy gas either from a local utility or on the open market. The district has, since 2011, been purchasing gas on the open market. The decision was made back in 2011 because the cost of consumer power was significantly higher per MCF than it was on the open market, and we were saving money at that time by going that route. But doing an analysis over the last 5 years and the current price on what we can get in the open market compared to consumer energy, we can actually get about a 12% savings by going through consumers' energy. Again, when you go in the open market, it's more or less a hedging situation. You're buying, a commodity on a futures type basis. At this particular juncture, it is a recommendation that we return to consumers' power.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Call for the vote, Madam Secretary.
Trustee Hicks.
Yes.
Trustee Rice.
Yes.
Trustee Poole.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Trustee Joyce.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, the next items are for information only. They do not require board action. SimEd Total Management Suite Renewal. And we also have the bill summary, number 812. So, okay. Next, board matters. Ms. Rice, you have anything for the board today?
Yes. So I want to start by saying having the hour and a half of student staff recognition, most folks like to say that milk does a body good. Seeing that student success really did me some good this evening. So I'm really happy to see that we have that segment as part of our meeting and that our students are doing so well. I know the gentleman is gone, but the TED Talks, very impressive. It is. To be able to perform such as that, it's just impressive, especially on the topic of innovation and being able to take that to the next generation is just phenomenal. Ms. Rankin, I know she's gone, but pretty much kudos to her. You can tell that she really has a heart, and I have a soft spot for kids and those who love kids, so happy to see that as well. Sharing some information about the National Association School Board Conference that the board attended this late March. I really liked the networking opportunities, being able to speak to other superintendents and school boards about their district, some of their challenges, some of their resolutions, whether if they were viable for this school district or not, was a really healthy discussion, and happy to be involved in that. I could speak probably for days in regards to the training that we received and the guest speaker sessions. They're just phenomenal amount of information, but I'm sure our board members will share some similar information on that.
Thank you. Mr. Hicks?
Echoing what Ms. Rice has stated about the National Association of School Boards meeting, we all had different flavors of interest based on our backgrounds. Me being a technology person, I attended a lot of forums related to technology. When I was a student here in the district, I remember a lot of my peers' parents were automotive, whether it be assembly line or management. A lot of those jobs are going or have gone. One of the courses that I took talked about majority of the workforce, well, about 65% of the workforce will be in jobs that don't even exist today. So the message that I got from that is we need to come back and make sure that we are giving our kids a foundation that allows them to adapt and grow and learn new technologies, new initiatives, new practices, new techniques, because some of the jobs that we had that, you know, provided for us won't be here. So we have to embrace technology. We have to look at how we utilize the devices that Mr. Lopez mentioned, and how we make sure that our kids who may not be on the track to go to college have other methods of learning, whether it be vocational. We just need to look at all aspects of where trends are going and make sure that we prepare our children for success. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Poole?
Yes, I'd like to kind of coattail what Trustee Hicks had to say about the jobs of the future. I spent, these conferences are kind of like trying to take a drink of water from a fire hydrant. And the depth of knowledge that comes with these workshops are just unbelievable. Great presenters, national, internationally known lecturers. But I took a site visit to Lockheed Martin out in Littleton, Colorado. And that's where I think the jobs are going to come from the future. Space exploration. The particular facility that I visited, and it was a site visit. It was one of those site visits where my name had to be in their computer 24 hours before I could step onto their property. And then when you got to the facility, you had to produce picture ID. No photography, nothing. But I think space is the next frontier. This is where they manufacture fighter jets and spacecraft, some of which may travel for 5 or 6 years just to get to Mars and on their way back. You're talking about Orion. You're talking about jobs where people are tracking activity, satellites in space, jobs that are tracking the International Space Station, the activities that go on. If you can visualize Ford Field, empty, with no seats, no stands, that's one of their test labs. It's one of their manufacturing facilities where they design and build spacecraft. I think at SHAP, Sterling Heights Assembly Plant, it takes them about 90 minutes to build an automobile. Well, in this facility, it takes a little over a year to go through that same assembly process. Those where the jobs are going to come from. I think space is the next frontier that we're going to have to face. And I think before we all leave here, we're probably going to take a vacation on the moon.
I don't think
We'll be saying, I'll see you on the moon.
Not me. No way.
The other thing was I took a tour of the Counterterrorism Education Learning Lab, and it's in Denver, Colorado. And it's a real education, and it takes people in our district that know our community, that know our parents, that know our children, that might be going through failure in school, might be going through a divorce at home, may not have eaten the night before. Whatever those issues are, and whether you know it or not, those are some of the traits of how you counter terrorism. It's interesting to note that ISIS is at the top of the list, but at the same time they've taken the Ku Klux Klan off that list. It's an interesting dichotomy there. You've got bullying on that list of things to look for. Bullying, which we see on a regular basis. And I would imagine these people see it firsthand. So I don't look at you as vendors, not at all. You're valued partners of this district and of this board. So don't think yourself as being commoditized. You are valued partners with this board. Now, you really, if you get some time, you really need to take that tour, because I think Columbine, Colorado was maybe 30 miles away from here. And Columbine was a terrorist act by two gifted children that had been bullied for 4 years. 4 years. And how they acted it out was they killed 12 students, killed a teacher, injured 25 other people, and then turned the guns on themselves. So that takes the ability to identify problems with our students. A lot more I could go into because it's so easy nowadays. See, our kids are 1 or 2 clicks away from being recruited by ISIS, especially if they're playing those mobile apps, Mobile Strike, Warfare, those kind of games that are on your phone or at home. They're 1 or 2 clicks away from an ISIS recruit. That's fact. To build these devices that they talk about, bombs, it's on the internet. It's nothing really difficult or challenging about doing that kind of stuff. But the whole message that I got out of that tour was you can't deal with it after fact. You got to get it up front. You got to nip it. You got to identify what it is. And I've seen some of those cases come through this district where we had to expel. And if you're going to expel, don't let them back, because that's when they might bring weapons back with them. So we've encountered that here. We've been able to fend it off because we've been able to identify those traits in our students. So if you get a chance, go out there. They're on the website. Visit the Counterterrorism Education Learning Lab. I had a chance to spend a half day out there. I could really go back and spend another half day as well. So that's some of the things that I attended while at the conference. I'm happy to announce that we've dealt with these things in the past, and I'm impressed with how we've had to make that tough decision to not let some of our students back because they had violated our policies. Policy enforcement is a key, and I don't want to go too far into it, but it was a great experience. It helped me better understand that money isn't always the answer.
Thank you very much.
And we have valued employees that help us help our students become successful.
Thank you, Mr. Poole.
You're welcome.
Ms. Charles?
For the record, I won't be here on Thursday due to a previous engagement with regards to Holy Week. I will say just a couple of quick points here that, and I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but there is no question, and I had to write it down so I didn't get off track, but there's no question I value ESOS. I value all of our bargaining units, and I think it's important that it's ebb and flow, where we're valued too. And just to recollect how emergency managers don't ask you anything. They don't consult with the community to check with, hey, should we do this? How do you feel about that? Just remember that we have a board here that you still have access to. There were tough comments during public participation, and some of them I could be offended to if I didn't know that everything we do is rooted in data and that it's rooted in the information that we glean from our paid staff. And so I just want to remind the community that all of our emails are listed on the website. It's called Public Information, as well as our phone numbers. Believe me, we get calls. So not that I disagree with the podium. That's every American's opportunity to express themselves in a public forum in front of a public body. I just want to encourage, some conversations in between. There's a lot of time in between this second Tuesday meeting, and I just welcome it. I wish the young man was still here. Ms. Beckwith, I'm requesting that you share with this parent that board member Charles would love to dialogue with him about the value of professional development and why that money is well spent, and how that there is tons of evidence to show that if you have a strong school board, it matches up in terms of strong academics. That is called the Lighthouse Study. I learned that my first month on the board. Hastening to a little close here, my conference report will be forthcoming, but I do want to encourage the members of the board to send your compiled notes to Nicole, and she could probably compile them for the superintendent. And then, we love hearing from you, but so does Vincent Gregory, and so does Jeremy Moss, and so does Brenda Lawrence, and so does Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters, and all of those secretaries that recently were given permission to make decisions for our country, such as DeVos and Tillerson. So they are your elected officials too. We are all their boss, if we want to talk about bosses. So let's be about the boss's business and communicate with those bodies too. They need to hear it like like we all need to hear it here as well. And then in closing, I think there's a little photo. I'd like to end on a good note, a positive, which is that the library is asking for junior library boardsmanship. And I thought this was so cool. I saw it this morning when I was heading to pick up a book, and I just want to say it's for 6th grade through the 10th grade. And as you can see, there's no phone number, there's no Facebook icon, there's no, nothing. In order to apply, you actually have to go in to the library and talk to a librarian.
Yes.
Fascinating. So I just wanted to make sure that was what I ended with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Smith?
Yes, I would like to, well, good evening again. I'm wearing my purple nails, purple shirt. I'd like to begin by stating or giving a very heartfelt, happy month of the young child. I am and will forever be a true early childhood education professional. And I support everything about young learning, our youngest learners, and supporting them. So I'm wearing my purple nails, I'm wearing my purple shirt, I'm wearing my purple heels. You can't see them down here, but I am all decked out in purple for our young kids. I am, right?
You are.
Yeah. So as for the conference, I want to focus in some very specific areas. Science, technology, systems around student achievement and equity, understanding that we were there with board members from across the country, so I really wanted to hear about some of the things that they're implementing within their districts, because we're all feeling this same pain. The specifics may look different, but the overall issues are the same. So we're all trying to figure out the best way to manage with what we have. And so I really wanted to hear from those, keeping student achievement at the top of the list. Also, I wanted to focus on communication. And that was actually one of my favorite sessions that I went to. I focus on communication because as a parent in this district, I've been a parent in this district since my daughter was she spent a year at Bussey. And so she's now going on to 4th grade next year. And, God willing, she'll continue in this district. We will both continue in this district. And so as a parent, and also as an educator, because I'm also an educator, communication is key. And we often hear of all of the miscommunication that takes place. We hear of the misinformation that is communicated way too often. And I welcome and appreciate anyone lifting their voice to advocacy. But I think we also have to remember some of the key factors in communicating and really taking the time to understand. And one of the key messages that came out of that session, which really was more of a reinforcement for me, was that how much of what we actually speak out of our mouth is lost in all of the nonverbals. But not only that, the fact that often, way too often, we listen to, I'm not gonna even say listen, we hear to respond as opposed to listening to understanding. And so I really want to charge everyone here, up here on this board, all the way through our community, to really take the time to listen, to understand. We have to become, really make more of an effort to become partners with our parents. Things like initiatives like our parent university, which I'm such a true advocate for, and I'm so excited, looking forward to that. The second one, I was there at the first one, so I encourage those parents to come out to that as well. But also just getting to know what systems, what policies are in place. As it was alluded to, there's a lot of conversation that can take place in between these second Tuesday meetings. And there's a lot of conversation that can take place even during our study sessions that don't have to take on such this grandstand approach and look, where we can really start to, one, get the real information out there, and two, start to better understand. Because I think it's very true across the board. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. And this is a board that cares, and I can tell you as an educator, as a parent, I care. I'm up many of nights thinking about other people's kids, and it's because I care. So that was really important to me, and I'm really hoping that that message really has, hit home for some of you. We really have to become better communicators. We have to model it. We have to become better communicators for ourselves, one. We have to model it for our kids. We have to model it for our kids. It doesn't make it any better that what we have on national, TV, it just completely contradicts what I'm saying here. But if we're modeling what they're doing at the federal level, on reality TV, whatever the case may be, social media, if we're modeling that, that's the only message our kids get about how to interact with one another. And at the baseline, that's what communication is all about, interacting with one another. And if we can't get it right, then I'm telling you, that's going to be the single thing that's going to take this district down. And we just, that's why families leave this district. That's why people choose to stay in this district. We have to become better communicators. And so I wanted to learn more about how I can do that, and I'm charging all of you to take on that same task as well. Another thing that I did when I was in Denver, I was really excited about, and I felt just the heaviness of what this meeting was going to be, and so I failed to bring pictures, but I really enjoyed a visit at the Denver Science Museum. I learned about some of their interactive programs, and I'm a true advocate of our new science standards, as I mentioned earlier. I get so excited because I've always had this this loving, fun interest in for science, but I've recently, over the past year, really taken a deep dive into learning about the new standards and all of that, and I really was so pleased, and I had such a good time, and I was impressed by the programs that are offered. Now, they have interactive, free, let me say that, free interactive classes that teachers' classrooms across the country can sign up for. And I really, I urge, teachers in the audience listening, to check out the Denver Science Museum website for those resources, because it was so awesome. I watched from downstairs. I watched a cow's heart being dissected, and then I got to go upstairs into the green room and where they do all the media and streaming, and I got to actually touch it. But what a lesson like that would look like is you would be interacting from your classroom. The teacher would be facilitating the questions that are happening in the class, and the kids will get an opportunity to talk to real scientists in the field that are experiencing these different, whatever it is they're studying, these units. It was so exciting. I mean, I'm ready to jump out of my seat right now. But I really just urge you all to, teachers, parents, to check it out and see how we can bring that to this district. They're able to, all you need is a internet and a microphone and boards. And we know we have smart boards in our classroom, so we know we can do that. And then lastly, I would just like to, of course, piggyback off what Dr. Wood mentioned about, just making sure our kids are ready to test. And I would urge parents to go to the michigan.gov/MSTEP for testing resources. Practice, just more guides, just more information on how we can do our part as parents. Yes, I'm saying we because this is the first time my baby's taking MSTEP. And so, of course, I'm like, wow, kind of feeling the pressure of that. But, making sure that we're doing our part to help our students do their very, very best. And then I would just like to conclude by stating, for the record, as I've stated already, I will not be in attendance. Principals that are presenting on this day, I do apologize, but I will not be in, well, what does Beyonce say, sorry, not sorry? I apologize to be polite, but sorry, not sorry. I will not be there on April 27th because I'm graduating, so I'm not, I'm sorry, but I'm not. But thank you. Sorry, not sorry.
Nothing.
And I will save my comments on my National School Board Conference for next month, since the hour is late, and I'm sure you all want to go home, because I do.
No, we want to stay.
So,
we want to stay.
You can stay if you want to, darling. Okay, announcement. Future board meeting.
Thursday, April 13th, 6 p.m., special board meeting with closed session for a legal update. Friday, April 14th, Good Friday, school and offices are closed. Tuesday, April 18th, at 6 p.m., special board meeting, school reviews with principals. Tuesday, April 25th, at 6 p.m., student hearing, Mrs. Rice, Mr. Poole, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Hicks. Thursday, April 27th, at 6 p.m., special board meeting, school reviews with principal. Tuesday, May 9th, at 7 p.m., regular board meeting. Correction on student hearing, not Ms. Rice, but Betty Robinson. Okay, this meeting is adjourned.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, the meeting is adjourned.